Chapter 450. Chin Chin covered her ears and ran out of the house. She didn't want to go. She was scared, but she couldn't control herself and took a taxi to the cafe. The spring sunshine shone on the glass window. Across the road, Chin Chin saw Zhou Ian holding a bouquet of flowers with a smile. Jiang Rui was sitting opposite her, looking at her carefully. Zhou Ian seemed to be talking, and Jiang Rui was listening to her attentively. In an instant, her heart was filled with pain, as if someone was cutting her flesh inch by inch with a knife. What was more painful than the pain was the silent cry from the depths of her soul. I told you that he was not a good person. Last time he almost killed me. But you didn't learn your lesson. Ah. Chen Chen waved her arms. There was still a lot of traffic in front of her. In the opposite window, a man and a woman were still whispering. Jiang Rui seemed to feel something wrong. He turned around and looked outside. His face changed instantly. Zhou Ian also saw Chen Chen. She screamed and saw Jiang Rui had run out. Chen Chen saw Jiang Rui coming out of the cafe and looking at her with a bad face. She just wanted to get away from here, so she turned around and ran away stumbling. Lulu! Jiang Rui shouted with anxiety and fear, but his voice was drowned in the traffic. He watched Lulu pass through the crowd and disappear into the crowd in the blink of an eye. Jiang Rui was furious. He called Chen Chen while chasing her, but no one answered. Then he called Xiaoxi. Track Lulu with the satellite. Xiaoxi was shocked when he heard Jiang Rui's voice was shaking. He asked, Boss, what happened to Mrs. Jiang? Track her quickly. Don't talk nonsense. I've already turned it on. Turned it on. Xiaoxi shivered. He could imagine how horrible Jiang Rui's expression must be. Jiang Rui stood at a crossroad. Hurry up. Where is she? In the west of Huaihai Road. She's moving slowly. Xiaoxi reported the coordinates. Jiang Rui immediately ran to the road on the right. Are there any of our people nearby? Yes, there are 2 brothers who live there. Ask them to stop Lulu. Don't scare her. Stay there and wait for me. Xiaoxi nodded immediately. I've already informed them. Chen Chen's face was full of panic, and she only knew to run forward. Suddenly, 2 men in military uniforms rushed out of the alley. Sister-in-law. One of them had wet hair. Boss is looking for you. Wait for him. The other one took out his communicator and reported. We've stopped sister-in-law. Okay, got it. Chen Chen glanced at him and reached out to take off the locator in her ear. She threw it to the ground and said, Let's go. I don't want to see him. Hi, miss. Do you need help? A taxi stopped at the side of the road. Soldiers these days aren't anything good. They dare to flirt with little girls in broad daylight. Chen Chen had no other thoughts in her mind except running. As long as she could get out of here and away from Jiang Rui, she didn't want anything else. She opened the door and got in. The 2 soldiers who stopped her did not expect her to go up directly. When they wanted to stop her again, the car had already started. One of them immediately went to drive while the other hurriedly reported, Go away. A cold voice suddenly came. Jiang Rui sat in the driver's seat and started the car. The one with wet hair didn't even dare to breathe loudly. When Jiang Rui chased him to the intersection and didn't know where to go, he said weakly, Boss. Boss. Sister-in-law threw the locator away. Breach. The car braked sharply. Jiang Rui turned around and looked at him. What did you say? Looking at their boss's question word by word and his ferocious expression. The 2 guys were so scared that they didn't even dare to breathe loudly. Boss, the locator is with your mobile phone. Have you found it? Xiaoxi's voice came from the communicator. Jiang Rui closed his eyes and stepped on the accelerator in the next second. Inform the police that the whole city is under martial law. Find a taxi with the number 801216. When Jiang Rui walked into the monitoring room of the army, Xiaoxi had already assigned the task. Boss, the car you mentioned has been found. It was thrown at the gate of a shopping mall. They have sent the surveillance video back. The camera at the gate of the shopping mall clearly recorded that Chen Chen was dragged out of the car by 2 men and was stuffed into another car. Xiaoxi swallowed his saliva and didn't dare to say anything, because during this process, Chen Chen might have wanted to run away, and one of the men slapped her. The air around seemed to be frozen. Xiaoxi peeped at Jiang Rui and found that his eyes were dark and he was dead. He was emitting a strong murderous look and looked like a dead man. Boss. Boss. Jiang Rui took a deep breath and sat down. Send the video to the police and the Ministry of Transportation. Find this car. Our people. Scar and Bear have already taken people there. Xiaoxi said quickly. There was a dead silence. Xiaoxi couldn't stand the atmosphere and plucked up his courage to ask, Boss, did you make sister-in-law angry? He didn't ask if they had quarreled because Jiang Rui wouldn't quarrel with Chen Chen. He didn't want to. So he must have done something to make Chen Chen misunderstand. Do you have nothing to do? Jiang Rui glanced at him quietly. Go watch your monitor. Xiaoxi curled up his body and bent over the computer, wishing that he could drill his head into it. Until the evening, there was still no news. Jiang Rui called Wen Pintang and asked him to take Tuanzi to his home. Did something happen to Lulu? Wen Pintang asked him. The intersection was under martial law in the afternoon. My people said it was an order from the military headquarters. In the capital, the only one who could give such an order was Jiang Rui. Jiang Rui didn't say anything. Wen Pintang said angrily, You can't hide it for long. The Wan family is watching the capital. I know. Just tell me if you need help. After hanging up the phone, his mind was in a mess. For a while, it was Chen Chen's sad and disappointed face across the road. For a while, it was his imagination that she might have been hurt. Jiang Rui wished that he could shoot himself. If he had known it, he wouldn't have done so many things. Now Lulu misunderstood him and was kidnapped. Boss. Bear rushed in. The Lu family did it. A murderous look flashed in Jiang Rui's eyes. Where is Lu Tao? It's not Lu Tao. Bear drank some water. When we investigated, we found that the second and third brothers of the Lu family had been looking for someone in the underworld. The man who pretended to be a taxi driver has been controlled by us. He said that someone gave him a sum of money to send Mrs. Jiang to a place. But he didn't know who they were, and he didn't know where they took sister-in-law. We showed him the pictures. They were the two brothers of the Lu family. Xiaoxi turned on the video again. It should be. Although they covered their heads, they were about the same height. As soon as he finished, the phone rang. Officer Jiang. I have a deal that I think you must be interested in. The night was getting dark, and the city began to be full of lights. A street in the South City was full of people, and there were colorful signs everywhere. This was a famous street of bars. Every night, countless men and women came to have fun. When Chen Chen woke up, she found herself lying on the toilet. She stood up abruptly but fell down again because of dizziness. I'm so dizzy. She shook her head and remembered that she was caught by two strange men in the car, and then they covered her mouth with a towel. Then she didn't know anything. After adjusting herself and making sure that she didn't lose any arms or legs, Chen Chen stood up with the help of the wall. She carefully opened the door and looked around, and found that it was really a toilet. But the decoration was very bold. She glanced at the faucet with the shape of male genitals and gasped. Then she slowly opened the door of the toilet and was shocked. The wall in front of her was full of wallpaper of naked women. Chen Chen bared her teeth and walked forward with her head down. From time to time, she could see women with heavy makeup and nothing on. She walked through the corridor and opened a door. Inside there was dim light and heavy metal music. This is a bar. Chen Chen breathed a sigh of relief. It was fine as long as it was not a strange place. While she was thinking, she saw a woman sandwiched between two men. It was not difficult to tell what they were doing from their undulating postures. Chen Chen hurriedly lowered her head. This place was so horrible that she began to feel scared. Hey, there's a chick. A man in tights came over. Come on, have a drink with me. He put the glass in Chen Chen's hand and threw a pink pill into it. Chen Chen saw a bunch of bubbles coming out of the wine, and quickly returned it to the man. I don't drink. You should be open when you come out to play. The man held her. Come on, have a drink and I'll take you to have fun. Chen Chen struggled to push him away. Go away, I don't drink. The wine spilled all over the man, and he threw the glass. Damn it, bitch, don't pretend. Then he waved his hand and three men came over. Hold her. The man walked over with an obscene smile and pinched Chen Chen's chin. Chen Chen's arms and hair were grabbed by two men. She couldn't move and could only cry and shake her head. Brother Xiaorui. Brother Xiaorui. She suddenly remembered that Jiang Rui already had another woman. She felt a pain in her heart and cried even more fiercely. Dad. Brother. She murmured. The man behind her pinched her mouth and poured a pack of white medicine into her mouth. Chen Chen's throat was blocked and she felt uncomfortable. She instinctively wanted to vomit. The man covered her mouth fiercely. A bottle of wine appeared next to him, and he poured it into her mouth. Her throat was burning and her stomach began to churn. She wanted to vomit, but nothing came out. Her body became softer and softer, and her eyes gradually lost focus. The last impression she had was that she fell into a man's arms, and the man looked at her with an obscene smile. All the pain disappeared. Chen Chen felt that she was floating, as if she were flying or swimming in the water. She had never felt so comfortable. There was nothing in her mind except the comfortable feeling, which made her sink deeper and deeper. Chapter 451. Who's calling me? Chen Chen heard a lot of voices, including crying, shouting, and something falling on the ground, making a loud noise. She wanted to open her eyes, but she couldn't. Her body didn't seem to belong to her. Chen Chen was very scared. She was worried that her hands and feet were gone. Why couldn't she feel them? The thought only lasted for a moment. Soon, she fell into the darkness again. Officer Jiang, calm down. Mrs. Jiang overdosed on ecstasy. It's normal for her to have this kind of reaction. She won't wake up for at least a few days. The ward was in a mess, and the two nurses were shivering at the side. Was this the legendary god of war? It was so terrible. He had just smashed everything. If those people hadn't stopped him, they would have been beaten to death. Hua Tuo came and felt Chen Chen's pulse. Master, Mrs. Jiang is fine now. We can only wait for her to wake up. Are you sure you're fine? Jiang Rui's face darkened. He looked like a ferocious beast crawling out of hell, as if he could pounce and bite someone to death at any time. Aziz sneered at him. What's the use of being anxious now? What were you doing earlier? Madam, haven't I explained it to you? Bear anxiously held her. Master wanted to propose to Mrs. Jiang, so he went to Zhou Yiyun for advice. Haha, Aziz said with a fake smile. Give me advice? Did he have to ask her for advice? Are you familiar with her? Why didn't he ask me? I'm Chen Chen's good friend. I know what she likes. Why did he have to ask a strange woman? Bear wanted to explain, but Aziz stared at him. Even if your master doesn't like me, he can at least check it on the internet. There's nothing on the internet. Why did he have to ask her to talk in a cafe? Haha. Aziz's eyes were red. Let me tell you, Jiang Rui, you're really a scumbag. Chen Chen suffered so much because of you. Last time she was shot, and this time she was almost. Aziz covered her face and began to cry. Bear hugged her and comforted her. Aziz, master didn't mean it. He didn't do it on purpose. Can you forgive me just because I didn't do it on purpose? Aziz punched him twice and turned around to lie on the bed. Poor little Chun, sob sob sob. The ward suddenly became quiet. The doctor and the nurse took the opportunity to sneak out. This was a big gossip. Unfortunately, they didn't dare to go out and talk nonsense. I'm sorry, Jiang Rui said after a long time. He said that while looking at Tuanzi. Tuanzi glanced at him and said nothing. Jiang Rui knew that his daughter always bullied Chen Chen, but in her heart, her mother was the most important person in the world. Even he, her father, couldn't replace her. Now because of his carelessness, Chen Chen had suffered so much. Whenever he thought of the scene at that time, Jiang Rui wanted to kill someone. When they arrived at the bar, Chen Chen was pressed on the sofa by 3 men. Her shirt had been taken off and a man was taking off her pants. Jiang Rui went up and kicked her aside. Then he picked up Chen Chen and left. Take them back and take good care of them. Gritting his teeth, Scar naturally knew how to treat these scumbags. The doctor said that Chen Chen had taken too much ecstasy. Even if she woke up a little later, her brain would be damaged. Jiang Rui didn't dare to imagine what would have happened if he hadn't arrived. This assumption made him feel heartbroken. You can all go back. I'll stay. Jiang Rui didn't want so many people to stay here. He wanted to talk to Chen Chen. Aziz grabbed the bed. I won't go. Madam, let's go. Bear pulled her and whispered. You know that boss can't wait to kill you. Don't be angry with him. Aziz still wanted to say something, but Tuanzi had already walked to the door. Let's go. Uncle Bear, please take me to the Wan family. Tuanzi, Jiang Rui said. The little girl turned her head and stared at him. Their aunt knows how to make soup. I'll send it here with Aunt Xiahong later. Jiang Rui nodded and felt a little better. He was really afraid that his daughter would ignore him. In the blink of an eye, all the people left. Jiang Rui then took a chair and sat by the bed. Lulu, can you hear me? He held Chen Chen's hand in his. I'm sorry. It's my fault. I shouldn't have gone to the cafe with others for any reason. I'm sorry for making you misunderstand. Lulu, don't sleep anymore. Wake up, okay? You can beat me or scold me when you wake up. Looking at the little woman lying on the bed quietly, Jiang Rui's palm-sized face turned blue because of the drugs. Even her breathing was not as strong as usual. It was slow and shallow. If Hua Tuo hadn't promised that she would be fine, Jiang Rui would have thought that she was going to leave him. Lulu. A drop of hot tears fell on Chen Chen's hand, turning into endless attachment and regret. Chen Chen slept for 3 days straight. During this period, Xia Hong came to deliver food to Jiang Rui every day. Tuanzi would also come with her. When Pintang also came once and told him that the Wan family had already known that it was Xian Qing who stopped Wan Qingxi. Otherwise, they would have come to kill him. When Lulu wakes up, remember to call back as soon as possible. When Pintang told him before he left. Otherwise, you'll be skinned alive. Jiang Rui thought indifferently that if being skinned alive could wake Lulu up, then so be it. On the evening of the 3rd day, Jiang Rui had just sent Xiahong and Tuanzi away. When he was holding Chen Chen's hand and repeating the same words every day, he saw her eyelashes move. Lulu. Jiang Rui hurriedly stood up, with his heart hanging in his throat. The hand in his palm moved, and he shouted excitedly, Doctor, doctor. The doctor who was on standby immediately rushed in, followed by the nurses with sad faces. These days, Officer Jiang would shout almost every day, saying that he saw Chen Chen move, and that they were almost tortured to death. The doctor also thought that Jiang Rui was dazzled. He checked her and said in surprise, Mrs. Jiang woke up. She really woke up. Chen Chen slowly opened her eyes and saw a group of people in white coats looking at her in surprise. The next second they were pushed away by a face. Lulu. The man with stubble on his face looked at her uneasily. Chen Chen blinked and said, So ugly. Jiang Rui held her tightly and said, It's good that you woke up. It's good that you woke up. The doctor checked Chen Chen and announced that she was fine. She was just weak and needed to rest for a while. There might be some sequelae, such as inflexibility of her hands and feet, but she would be normal in a few months. I don't know when you will wake up. Xiahong brings soup every day. Today I finally get to drink it. Jiang Rui carefully fed her the chicken soup and said, Tell me what you want to eat after drinking the soup. If it's greasy, you can eat it. Chen Chen was very hungry and didn't have the strength to talk. After drinking a bowl of chicken soup, she pushed Jiang Rui away and said, I'm fine now. You can leave. Lulu. Jiang Rui took her hand and said, Give me a chance to explain, okay? Chen Chen began to cry. No, I don't want to see you. I was caught because of you. They fed me a lot of disgusting pills and... She suddenly pulled her clothes in horror. No. Jiang Rui held her lovingly and said, I arrived there and saved you. They didn't touch you, not at all. Chen Chen cried loudly. I was so scared. I called your name, but you have another woman. You don't want me anymore. Lulu. Jiang Rui grabbed her hand and was afraid that she would hurt herself. There is no other woman. You misunderstood. It's all a misunderstanding. I saw it all. You and Zhou. Chen Chen suddenly covered her mouth and looked at the ring in Jiang Rui's hand. I want to propose to you, so I asked Mom to design it for me. Do you like it? Jiang Rui took her hand and said, When I met Zhou Yun that day, she was shooting a wedding scene. I casually asked her how to make the proposal a surprise. Jiang Rui touched her hand carefully and said, There was a cafe nearby, so she invited me in to talk with her. She gave me a lot of ideas and asked me to see which one you liked. I thought about it for several days, but didn't know how to propose to you. So I asked her to go to the cafe and wanted to hear her opinion. Jiang Rui raised his head and said, but I didn't expect that you would be asked to go there. Chen Chen cried and said, liar. You even sent her flowers. Silly. It wasn't from me. It was from her fans. Jiang Rui raised her face and said, Lulu Azi is right. I shouldn't have asked other women and let them take advantage of the loophole to make you misunderstand. You still like me? You don't want me? Chen Chen looked at him and asked, it's all a misunderstanding? Jiang Rui held her up and put her on his body. How can I not want you? Without you, my life will be dark. So don't worry about it in the future and don't believe what others say. Lulu, I love you more than you love me. Don't worry about losing me, because I'm always more worried about losing you. Jiang Rui put the ring on her finger. I didn't expect that after all the trouble, I would propose to you in the hospital bed. Chen Chen looked at the ring on her finger. A huge pink diamond was held by a heart, and there was a circle of small white diamonds around it. It looked expensive and lively. The abbreviations of our names are engraved in it. Jiang Rui reached out his hand. He had a ring of the same style in his hand, but without the big diamond. Chen Chen pouted and said, I didn't say that I would marry you. Lulu. Jiang Rui kissed her face and said, I'm sorry that I put you in such a dangerous situation. I didn't protect you well. Who kidnapped me? Chen Chen shivered when she thought of that place. Jiang Rui held her tightly and said, leave it to me. Now you just need to say yes. Chen Chen raised her head stupidly and said, I'm too stupid. I won't be impulsive anymore. I have to hear it from you to believe it. Yes, we have to tell you everything in the future. Me too. Jiang Rui looked at her with a smile and said, then I'll take it as a yes. Now call Mom. They are all waiting. Chapter 452. The result of the call was that Jiang Rui was severely scolded. What are you going to do with those people? Boss Wan asked gloomily on the other side of the phone. If it's not convenient for you, give them to us. Jiang Rui naturally refused. Dad, don't worry. I'll make you satisfied. If Chen Huan and Xian Qing hadn't stopped him, Wan Qingxi would have rushed over. Are you a man or not? If you do it again, you won't be able to be with Lulu. Facing his brother-in-law's threat, Jiang Rui's response was to laugh. You can't come over anyway. Even if you can't beat me one-on-one. In the evening, everyone came over. Azi held Chen Chen and cried as soon as she came in. Chen Chen also began to cry when she saw her crying. The two women held each other and cried loudly. Azi, don't cry. Chen Chen just got better. She'll get sick if you keep crying. Bear said with a lingering fear. Don't you see that the boss is staring at you? How can she get sick if she cries? Azi didn't feel Jiang Rui's cold eyes at all. She said with conviction. Chen Chen, you're such a fool. You should ask clearly before you run away. It's such an obvious trap. Where's your brain? Jiang Rui couldn't bear to see Azi poking Chen Chen's head. He frowned and held her in his arms. It's my fault. Then he rubbed Chen Chen's forehead. Mom, you're so stupid. Tuanzi stood in front of her and looked at her for a long time before saying these words. Chen Chen didn't mind it at all, and held her in her arms. Tuanzi, I almost couldn't see you again. Boo. Tuanzi reached out and hugged her. Wow. Don't do this again, Mom. You scared me. Tuanzi was a 7-year-old child after all. She was very scared when Chen Chen was rescued on the first day, but she didn't cry. Now that Chen Chen was fine, she couldn't help burrowing into her arms like a normal child. I won't run away again. Chen Chen hugged her and squeezed into Jiang Rui's arms. Jiang Rui held his wife in one arm and his daughter in the other. He was in a very good mood. Xia Hong sighed. Well, it's a close call but not dangerous. When Chen Chen leaves the hospital, I'll invite you all to dinner. After 2 more days of observation in the hospital, Chen Chen moved home after Hua Tuo took a look. But just as the doctor had said, her hands would shake and her legs would falter. At first, when she found out that she had such a condition, she was scared to tears. I'm going to be paralyzed, right? Looking at the little woman's pitiful watery eyes, Jiang Rui wanted to laugh, but he also felt sorry for her. This is normal. The doctor said that you'll be fine in 2 months. He helped Chen Chen sit down and began to pack her luggage, preparing to leave the hospital. Chen Chen didn't believe him. She stared at him and asked, "Are you comforting me? You must be thinking that even if I'm paralyzed, you won't abandon me, right?" "Lulu." Jiang Rui pinched her nose. "If you are really paralyzed, can I still be so calm?" Thinking of the man's past style, Chen Chen nodded. "That's true. You've probably killed someone long ago. It's good that you know." Jiang Rui packed her luggage and helped her put on a small coat. "There are still 3 months before the summer vacation. It's enough for you to recover. When you get better, we'll take Tuanzi on a vacation." Chen Chen then went home with Jiang Rui happily. Because she couldn't run around, Azi came to accompany her every day. In the afternoon, Jiang Rui would come back earlier and drive her to the park to take a walk so that her legs and feet could recover faster. Then they would pick up Tuanzi from school together. About a week after leaving the hospital, Zhou Yun suddenly came. "Mrs. Jiang, I'm sorry for my sudden visit. Is it convenient for you?" Chen Chen saw such a beautiful woman looking at her carefully. She was afraid that she would close the door and not let anyone in. She smiled and said, "What are you talking about? Come in." Azi was engrossed in playing games. She raised her head and said hello. "Beauty Zhou." "Hello," Zhou Yun said quickly. Chen Chen pointed at the sofa opposite her. "Sit down." "Thank you." Zhou Yun sat down carefully. Her eyes were full of uneasiness. Azi jumped up and said, "I'm going to get some tea." Then she turned back and asked, "Beauty Zhou, shall we have some Coke?" "You're so lazy," Chen Chen yelled at her. "Have you ever heard of a star drinking Coke? You'll get fat." Zhou Yun thought they were going to quarrel. She stood up in fear and said, "Don't bother. I'll just drink some water." "Ah, I got it." Chen Chen pointed at the fridge. "Azi, there's still some red bean double skim milk that Brother Xiao Rui bought yesterday. Pour 2 cups. While Azi was pouring the drinks, Chen Chen put her snacks on the table in a mess. "Eat whatever you want. Don't be shy. Mrs. Jiangyu." Zhou Yun's eyes turned red. Azi ran over and said, "Oh, don't cry. We know why you came. But it's okay. You don't have to feel guilty." "Yeah." Chen Chen handed her a tissue. "Miss Zhou, it's not your fault. Don't cry." Zhou Yun wiped her tears. "If you don't mind, you can call me Yun. Anyway, I can't absolve myself from the blame. If I hadn't made you misunderstand me, the following things wouldn't have happened." While speaking, she couldn't help crying. "Mrs. Jiang, I'm lucky that you're fine. Otherwise, I'll feel guilty for the rest of my life. I'll call you Yun. Don't be shy. Call me Chen Chen." Chen Chen pushed the double skin milk to her. "Have a taste. It's delicious." When Zhou Yun came, she was ready to be beaten. She didn't know what happened after that day, but judging from the curfew in the city, it must be something serious. Then she heard from the one family that Chen Chen had stayed in the hospital for a few days. It was definitely not a trivial matter. She had also called De Xiong, but he had said, "Miss Zhou, it has nothing to do with you. Our boss knows it. Don't worry." But she couldn't rest assured. It had nothing to do with her fame or her future as a star. It was because she couldn't forgive herself for the role she played in the incident. At that time, she even thought that if anything happened to Chen Chen, she would pay with her life. She thought that Chen Chen would complain, but she didn't care about it at all. She didn't know what to do. It was a misunderstanding. As for the accident later, none of us expected it. So don't take it to heart. Chen Chen saw her serious face and knew that she was still blaming herself. "It's my fault. If I asked, everything would be fine." Chen Chen smiled. "If you still feel sad, I can only apologize to you." Zhou Yun was scared. She waved her hand and said, "Mrs. Jiang, please don't. I don't dare. I'm already very guilty." "Didn't I tell you not to call me Mrs. Jiang?" Chen Chen thought for a while. "If you really feel sorry, can you do us a favor?" Hearing this, Aziz stopped playing the game and nodded. "Yes, we have something to ask you." "What is it?" "I'll definitely help you." Zhou Yun thought that she would agree no matter what it was. However, the two women looked at each other and smiled. Great. Can you invite us to the premiere of your movie next week? That's it. Zhou Yun asked unbelievably. Officer Jiang, he can do it. Ozzy rolled her eyes at her. You don't understand. If we go with men, we can't take photos with male stars, okay? Well, Zhou Yun didn't know what to say for a while. Chun Chen said with a smile. Sister Xia Hong would have taken us in, but something happened in her family that day. She can't come. So, we want you to take us in. No problem. Zhou Yun almost patted her chest and promised. But will Officer Jiang let you go alone? She thought that according to Jiang Rui's style, he wouldn't let Chen Chen go to such a place alone. So, there will be a bodyguard with us. Chen Chen said proudly. Brother Xiao Rui will prepare for the military exercise next week. He will be very busy. Zhou Yun was relieved. If there was no bodyguard, she wouldn't dare to let Chen Chen go. If something happened, she would die. I'll send the invitation in advance. I'll wait for you at the door. Zhou Yun thought of something and asked them. Do you want to walk on the red carpet? Chen Chen shook her head. Actually, I want to, but we'd better keep a low profile. That's right. Zhou Yun nodded. Okay, then we'll make an appointment. See you on that day. Because they all liked each other, the three women soon chatted with each other. Zhou Yun didn't leave until Jiang Rui came back. Ozzy left with her. You seem to like her very much? Jiang Rui drove Chun Chen to the park to practice walking. Chun Chen put her leg on the window and rubbed it with her foot. Look, the policeman is staring at me. Jiang Rui pinched her face. Do you like her? Yes. Chun Chen held his hand and played with it. I told you before that she's a star I like very much. Sister Asha also praised her during the spring festival. Jiang Rui's face darkened. You like her more than me? Haha. Chen Chen laughed out loud. Brother Xiao Rui, you're a man and she's a woman. It's different. No. Jiang Rui didn't want her to say it. How is it different? Tell me. Chen Chen suddenly stopped moving. Jiang Rui thought she was going to be angry. When he was about to comfort her, he saw the little woman leaning to the driver's seat and rubbing against his arm. Brother Xiao Rui, my feeling for you is love. It's different from everyone else's. It's different from my father, my mother, and my brother. Jiang Rui suddenly stepped on the brake and looked at Chen Chen blankly. It was such a simple sentence, but it sounded like the sound of nature to him. His whole heart was lit up. That kind of happiness made him want to shout out loud. What's wrong? Chen Chen was scared by him. Jiang Rui suddenly hugged her. Chen Chen leaned on his chest and heard the man's heart beating, as if it was touched by some kind of joy and would break out of his body in the next second. Thank you. Jiang Rui raised her face and kissed Chen Chen's forehead sincerely. Lulu, thank you for loving me. Chapter 453. On the day of the premiere, Jiang Rui was working overtime in the army and Tuanzi went to the One family. Chen Chen and Ozzy went to the venue under the escort of Scar. Jiang Rui was afraid that Chen Chen's legs were uncomfortable, so he asked her to go there in a wheelchair. Don't talk to others casually. That was what Jiang Rui told Scar. Scar knew that Jiang Rui asked Chen Chen to sit in a wheelchair to reduce the attention. Those playboys would not be interested in a woman who could not stand up. This was an epic masterpiece with a majestic aura. There were many big shots in it. Except for Zhou Yun, there were almost all the most popular stars and some experienced seniors. After the premiere, there was a celebration party. Ozzy and Chen Chen looked around for stars to take photos with their mobile phones. At first, some people looked down on them and thought that they were bumpkins. Later, they found that Zhou Yun was very attentive and the man pushing the wheelchair was not an ordinary person. People in this circle were good at observing people's expressions. So every time Ozzy and Chen Chen asked for a photo, they agreed politely. They didn't know that they were the ones who took advantage of them. Didn't you see that we were talking? Where did you come from? No matter where it was, there were always blind people. Ozzy wanted to take a photo with a popular model, but she was scolded by his female companion. Scar pushed Chen Chen behind them. Seeing that Ozzy's face suddenly changed, she walked a few steps faster. What's wrong? Chin Chin pulled her. Ozzy squinted at the female model and said, Nothing. Then she turned to the male model and said, Can I take a photo with you? Of course. The male model was obviously much smarter. He just saw many famous stars taking photos with the two women. But his female companion was unhappy. Liang, you are a famous model now. Don't take photos with fans casually. What if they are perverts? Did you eat shit this morning? Ozzy was mean. Your mouth stinks. How dare you say that? The female model stared at Ozzy. Chin Chin didn't want to attract attention on such an occasion and said quickly, Miss, you were rude first. This is a public place. Don't be so loud. Go away. The woman looked at Chin Chin up and down and sneered. How dare a paralyzed person come here to scold me? Who do you think you are? Ozzy got angry when she heard that. She raised her hand and slapped her. Who do you think you are? I'm going to teach you a lesson today. So be it. Ah. The woman suddenly shouted hysterically. You dare to hit me? How dare you hit me? She wanted to grab Ozzy, but Scar grabbed her arm. The woman was stunned. Just now, Scarface was wearing a hat and had his head lowered. Only now did she realize that his eyes were filled with coldness. His entire body exuded an aura that indicated that he was not an ordinary person. What do you want? Scar pushed her away. Miss, enough is enough. Otherwise, it'll be too late for regrets. The male model also tried to persuade her. At this moment, there were already many people watching. Zhou Ian also heard the noise and hurried over. What happened? Ozzy pursed her lips and said, Well, in the past 2 years, even women with dog eyes and dog mouths can become models. You slut. Before the female model could curse, Scarface grabbed her chin. You've just entered the industry and you're already so full of yourself. A gentle voice came. Chin Chin turned his head and his eyes lit up. It was Ma Jingren, the veteran best actor. Chin Chin liked watching his movies very much. Ma Jingren held a very beautiful woman in his arms. Chin Chin knew her. Some time ago, it was reported on the internet that Ma Jingren, who had no scandals, met a beautiful woman abroad and fell in love at first sight. It was said that he had proposed and the wedding date was set to be on National Day. The woman smiled at Chin Chin. Chin Chin suddenly froze. She didn't know if it was an illusion, but she seemed to have seen this woman before. The female model was driven out, and the male model was too embarrassed to stay. Ozzy had no time to care about the model at this moment. She rushed to Ma Jingren's side and took several photos. Ma Jingren didn't care about it. He smiled and cooperated with her to take photos. In the end, Chin Chin also took a photo with him. The woman beside Ma Jingren didn't say anything. After they finished taking photos, she said, Jingren, you can talk to the director. You don't have to stay with me. I'm worried about you being alone. Haha, then I'll stay with these two ladies. Anyway, they're not in the industry. The woman smiled and blinked her beautiful eyes. Go ahead. Work is more important. Ma Jingren nodded reluctantly before leaving. After he left, the woman turned around and joked with Chin Chin. Alas, it's quite troublesome for a man to be too attached to a woman, isn't it? Haha. Because she didn't know her well, Chin Chin didn't say anything even though she knew it was a joke. She always had a strange feeling in her heart, so she couldn't help but ask, Sorry, have we met before? The woman shook her head in surprise. No way. I've been abroad and came back a few months ago. Maybe I'm wrong. Chin Chin smiled embarrassedly. Ozzy posted all the photos she took with the stars on Weibo, and then looked around. Chin Chin, I want to go to the bathroom. Do you want to come with me? Go ahead. Chin Chin didn't want to go, but she had to accompany her, in case she quarreled with others again. I've just been there. Come on, I'll take you there. Ma Jingren's fiancé said enthusiastically. Otherwise, it's quite embarrassing for me to stay here alone. Chin Chin nodded understandingly. Thank you. When they arrived at the bathroom, the three women went in, and Scar stayed outside. After a few minutes, Knife Scar suddenly heard a loud noise coming from inside. He opened the door without hesitation, and saw Ozzy lying on the ground with her head covered. The woman was fighting with Chin Chin with a knife. Sister-in-law. Scar rushed up and kicked the woman away. He quickly glanced at Chen Chen and found she was fine. Ozzy also stood up, cursing. Damn it, Scar, catch her. Scar looked at the woman on the ground with a cold face. Who are you? Who am I? The woman on the ground laughed out loud. I don't know who I am either. Ha 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 ha. She stared at Chen Chen viciously. It's all your brother and that bitch's fault. I've been reduced to such a situation that I can't even use my own face. Ha 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 ha. Chen Chen suddenly remembered. She covered her mouth in surprise. You're Tang Yu? Tang Yu? Scar searched for the information about this person in his mind, and instantly understood her identity. No wonder we couldn't catch her. She had plastic surgery. Ozzy took a breath and realized it. The landlady who set us up before? Yes. Chen Chen nodded. Damn it. This crazy woman. Ozzy kicked her. My head must have been broken by her. After that, she looked at Chen Chen. Why did she want to kill you? Just then, Tang Yu suddenly raised her hand. If I had known you were Wan Qingxi's sister, I would have killed you last time. She laughed. But it's not too late now. Do you know what this is? Tang Yu held a small bottle in her hand, which contained a light red liquid. Liquid bomb. Scar gritted his teeth. How could this woman have such a thing? Tang Yu stood up crazily. Wan Qingxi ruined the rest of my life. I want his sister to pay for it with her life. Calm down. Scar slowly approached her. Think about it. Are you willing to die like this? I have no choice. I can't live if I don't kill her. It's better for us to die together. Tang Yu murmured. Her eyes showed confusion and hatred. Ozzy quietly stood behind Chen Chen. This woman seems to be crazy. Sister-in-law Ozzy, I'll distract her. You should run immediately. Chen Chen refused. No, we can't leave you behind. You leave first. I can figure out a way. Scar persuaded her. This kind of bomb is not powerful. I can hide in the toilet. It'll be fine. Ozzy nodded. It's true. I heard from Bear that the range of the explosion is very small. Okay. Chen Chen glanced at Tang Yu, who was still talking to herself. Ozzy, let's push the wheelchair to her and then run together. However, Tang Yu suddenly sobered up. She stood up with the bomb in her hand and shouted, Don't move. As long as you move, I'll throw the bomb to you. Calm down. What do you want? Scar negotiated with her. At this time, the door was suddenly pushed open. Zhou Yiyun's words were stuck in her mouth. Mrs. Ma, what are you doing? Scar stopped her. Don't move. She has a bomb in her hand. Zhou Yiyun was stunned and immediately reacted. She stood beside Chen Chen. Mrs. Ma, Mr. Ma asked me to see you since you haven't gone out for so long. He's very nice to you and loves you very much. Why did you do this? I didn't want to. I didn't want to. Tang Yu suddenly cried. They forced me. They forced me. Scar reached out his hand. Calm down. Who are they? Who forced you? Ha 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 ha. Tang Yu suddenly stared at Chen Chen. No one forced me. I just want to die with the Wan family. Didn't your brother look down on me? Didn't Asha, that bitch, hate me? Ha ha ha. Today I'll kill his sister. I'll kill his sister. Scar screamed and rushed to Tang Yu. Tang Yu was pushed down by him and fell on the sink. Her head hit the glass mirror and broke it. She was in so much pain that she wanted to cover her head. The liquid bomb in her hand fell. Scar kicked it with fear, and the bomb fell into the toilet next to him. Ah! Ozzy screamed. The glass mirror that was hit by Tang Yu was completely broken. A large piece of sharp glass was aimed at Scar's head. He had no time to dodge it. Suddenly, an arm appeared in front of his eyes. The next second, the glass directly pierced into the arm. Zhou Yiyun screamed and fell to the ground. Such a big noise alarmed others. The first one to rush in was Ma Jingren. He looked at them in shock. Call an ambulance. Scar roared and picked up Zhou Yiyun on the ground. Chapter 454. In the hospital, Zhou Yiyun was lying on the bed with a pale face. Thank you. Scar saluted her. Zhou Yiyun twitched the corner of her mouth. Haha, you don't have to be so formal. Scar said seriously. If it weren't for you, my head would have been broken. Bah. Xiaoxi pushed the door open and came in. Don't scare her. She's already very scared. Zhou Yun's agent followed him with an expression of winning the lottery. Hearing Xiaoxi's words, she hurriedly said, well, it's nothing. It's our honor to be injured while protecting the country's soldiers. Sister Yin. Zhou Yun looked at her awkwardly. What are you talking about? Scar nodded immediately. Anyway, I'll take care of you when you're in the hospital. You don't have to turn to Bear for help in the future. Just turn to me directly. Yes, that's great. The agent, Sister Yun, said immediately. Oh, Chief. I'm worried. Yun has no relatives. I can't find her alone. She's a star. It's not appropriate to find a nurse. Zhou Yun hurriedly stopped her. Stop it. I don't need to be taken care of. Why not? Can you move your right arm? Can you eat? Sister Yin stared at her. I'm so busy delivering food to you every day. I don't have time to take care of you. Xiaoxi looked at Scar with a grin. You caused the trouble yourself. Solve it yourself. I'll take care of her. Unexpectedly, Scar didn't hesitate at all. So Sister Yin was relieved and left, saying that she would cook for Zhou Yun. When Scar walked Xiaoxi out, Xiaoxi looked at him and asked, did you find an excuse to avoid the maneuver? The maneuver could make people very tired. Scar could ask for leave legitimately now. Do you think I'm like you? Scar looked serious. You don't know the situation at that time. If she hadn't reached out, my head would have been broken. I know. Xiaoxi nodded. She said that the situation was very dangerous. She didn't have time to go there. If it hadn't been for Zhou Yun, you would have been a tombstone now. This matter was covered up by Jiang Rui. No one knew what had happened. It was said that Zhou Yun was ill and had to rest for a month. The next day, Chen Chen and Azi also came to the hospital with Tuanzi. Auntie. Tuanzi stared at Zhou Yun, who was lying on the bed carefully. She turned her head and said to Knife Scar, Uncle Knife Scar, Auntie is very beautiful. Scar was peeling an apple, but unfortunately, the peel was thicker than the flesh. He smiled embarrassedly and said, yes. Then he saw Chen Chen staring at him, so he quickly said, but she's not as beautiful as you. Hey, you're such a bootlicker. Azi rolled her eyes. Bear secretly told her that Jiang Rui once mentioned a military rule that no one was allowed to say that Chen Chen was not beautiful. Right. Chen Chen picked up an apple and helped to peel it. You're lying through your teeth. She gave a piece of the peeled apple to Zhou Yun. Thank you. Hey, how many times have you guys thanked me these past few days? I'm starting to feel embarrassed. Zhou Yun smiled. In that case, everyone would go up. Don't mention it. That's different. Chen Chen said seriously. I said I came here on behalf of Brother Xiao Rui. He said thank you for saving his brother. After the maneuver, he would come to see you in person. Scar had been staring at the watch. He suddenly stood up and said, it's time to change the dressing. The wound on Zhou Yun's arm was so deep that the bone could be seen. In addition to the Western medicine from the hospital, Hua Tuo also prescribed Chinese medicine, which had to be applied every day. In this way, there would be less obvious scars in the future. Sister, I can do it myself. I don't need your help. Scar began to apply the medicine successfully. Azi poked Chen Chen. Then let's go first. We'll come back to see her later. Okay. Chen Chen took Tuanzi's hand and said goodbye to Zhou Yun. She took a look at her wound and shuddered in her heart. After they went back, she wouldn't listen to Jiang Rui's words. You didn't see it. That wound is so horrible. She didn't know how many times she had said it. Jiang Rui, who finally got home early, pressed her down on the bed. And then the world became quiet. In the latter half of the night, Chen Chen was hungry. Jiang Rui got up to cook noodles for her. While eating, she suddenly said, do you think Zhou Yun will like Scar? You should ask Scar if he will like her. Jiang Rui put a piece of beef in her bowl. Scar is the best sniper in the army. His battalion has won the first place in the maneuver for 3 years. Yes. Chen Chen also thought so. Our younger brothers are the best. Jiang Rui glanced at her. Scar is 1 year older than you. You are so annoying. Chen Chen stared at him. I'm his sister-in-law. The eldest sister-in-law is like a mother. Have you ever heard of that? Yeah. Jiang Rui kissed her. You're right. You're his sister-in-law. It's up to you. Chen Chen blushed. Then do you think Zhou Yun can do it? Yes, she can. Jiang Rui fed her vegetables. But Scar won't like her. Besides, Zhou Yun may not like Scar. I know. But don't you think it's an opportunity? Chen Chen thought that Zhou Yun might feel moved if Scar took care of her in the hospital every day. What was the saying? Love starts from being moved. If you want to set them up, go ahead. Jiang Rui touched her head. He was busy these days, so it was good for her to have something to do. Tuanzi had told him that Zhou Yun's breath was clean. She saved Scar not because of their relationship, but out of instinct and sincerity. In Jiang Rui's opinion, if a person had the instinct to sacrifice himself for others, his moral character was good. The next day, Chen Chen went to the hospital and bought a famous soup. However, when she arrived, she found that Scar had already bought it, and there were all kinds of flavors. Didn't I tell you not to buy so much? Zhou Yun didn't know whether to laugh or cry. We can't finish it all. Scar was opening the steaming pots one by one. You won't get tired of tasting each. Chen Chen. Zhou Yun saw Chen Chen standing at the door with a pot in her hand, and she suddenly felt troubled. Hey. Chen Chen walked to the table and put down the stewed ribs in her hand. It seems that I can drink it by myself. Scar hurriedly handed her a spoon. Which one do you want to eat? Don't worry about me. Let Yun eat first. Chen Chen waved her hand and sat aside. Zhou Yun said embarrassedly. How can I do that? It will be cold soon. Which one do you like? Let's eat together. I already ate when I came here. Chen Chen waved her hand. Go ahead and eat. Don't let Scar down. Scar pushed the table over. Eat it. Zhou Yun had to pick a few pots. In order to maintain her figure, she always ate less and had a small stomach. When she finished eating, she saw Scar frowning again. I'm really full, she said helplessly. It was the same yesterday. Scar always thought that she was not full. Chen Chen said, Scar, she can't eat much. She's a star. A star can't starve herself to death. Look at her. She's so thin like a refugee. Scar disagreed. It seems that the country mistreats her. Zhou Yun laughed. It's related to the national affairs. Scar, do you think I'm thin? Chen Chen suddenly asked. You have a very good figure. Scar rolled his eyes. He didn't dare to say that she was also as thin as a chick. If the boss knew it, he would be in trouble. Chen Chen looked at him suspiciously. Do you have bad eyesight? It was obvious that she was rounder than Zhou Yun. Several nurses just came in. Scar quickly changed the topic. Take these away. Sorry to bother you again. It's no trouble at all. The young nurses happily took away a pile of soup. Chen Chen saw that one of them was almost drooling. No wonder when she just came. The nurses in charge of this ward smiled so brightly. It turned out that they had free soup to drink every day. Scar. Chen Chen said with a smile. You can go back and have a rest. I'll chat with Yin for a while. Scar shook his head. I'm not tired. After that he sat there like a door god. But, it's not suitable for you to hear our girls talk. Chen Chen gritted her teeth and said. Then I'll go to the door. Scar stood up and his heart skipped a beat. He knew Chen Chen well. He always felt that what she was going to say to Zhou Yun was not something good. When he walked to the door, he remembered that Xiaoxi asked him on the phone last night. You said that Zhou Yun likes your identity. Or she likes you. To be honest, he didn't want either of them. There was nothing to say about her liking his identity. She saved his life, so it was understandable that she wanted to rely on him in the future. But Scar didn't like this kind of woman who used him. If it was the second kind, he didn't think about it at all, because it was impossible. The two of them had only met a few times. If it weren't for this accident, they wouldn't even know each other. Do you have something to say? In the ward, Zhou Yun was scared by Chen Chen's stare. Just say it. Chen Chen sat next to her. What do you think of Scar? Zhou Yun didn't understand. I think he's very nice and manly. Although he has a scar on his forehead, my brother said that scars are the metals of a man. Chen Chen murmured. Look at Scar's face carefully. He's very handsome, isn't he? Zhou Yun would be an idiot if she still didn't understand what Chen Chen meant. She asked in surprise. You mean, you want to ask me if I like Scar? Yes, yes, yes. Chen Chen nodded repeatedly. Do you like him? Zhou Yun looked at her with a funny look. Have you asked him? Does he like me? Chen Chen wanted to ask why he didn't like her when she was so beautiful. But she suddenly remembered that Jiang Rui said that Scar likes strong women, so she immediately felt guilty. Haha. Zhou Yun knew it would be like this. She organized her words and said, It's not like the ancient times where you have to marry whoever you save. Scar and I are not even friends. You don't have to worry about it. Chen Chen left with melancholy. It wasn't easy for her to be a matchmaker, but she died before she started. Chapter 455. When Jiang Rui went back in the evening, he saw Chen Chen sitting on the sofa and almost falling asleep. He would come back no matter how late it was. Usually the little woman would have fallen asleep in bed, but today... Haha. Jiang Rui put her on his lap. They don't want to. Chen Chen heard the familiar voice in a daze, and immediately opened her eyes to stare at him. How do you know? Jiang Rui's heart softened when he saw that she was still sleepy and didn't forget to open her eyes. Thinking of the news he got for free, there was a trace of coldness in his eyes. What's wrong? Although Jiang Rui hid it well, Chen Chen still found it. Nothing. Jiang Rui kissed her. Tell me what's wrong. Chen Chen told him what Zhou Yun said and then asked, Should I ask Scar first? Then he must say that she's not his type. Jiang Rui held her up. It depends on fate. It's useless for you to try so hard. Good girl, let's go to sleep. Chen Chen, who still wanted the man to give her some advice, was soon suppressed. She heard Jiang Rui's words in a daze. I've tried so hard. Why is your belly still so quiet? When she woke up at noon, Jiang Rui had already left, leaving Chen Chen alone at home. Because of the maneuver, even He Zi was recruited. Tuanzi went to visit on the weekend, but the team that could have won the game lost to Bear's team. Since then, as long as Tuanzi went to the army, she would be treated as well as Jiang Rui. After eating the lunch Jiang Rui left for her, Chen Chen went to the hospital again. Today she decided to start with Scar. But as soon as she went in, she heard Zhou Yun's voice. Ran away? God. What ran away? Chen Chen asked immediately. Scar turned around and saw her. The corner of his eyes twitched. Judging from the situation, he knew that the boss didn't tell her. If he told her, he would be asking for death. Seeing him in a dilemma, Zhou Yun didn't dare to say anything. Chen Chen curled her lips. What are you hiding from me? I'll call Brother Xiao Rui and ask him. No. Sister-in-law, I'll tell you. Don't call him. Scar looked at her helplessly. Tang Yu ran away. Chen Chen was shocked. Why did she run away? Tang Yu was also seriously injured that day and had been kept in the hospital of the prison. Jiang Rui had interrogated her in person, but she either cried or begged him not to kill her. Later, the doctor confirmed that she had a mental problem and decided to temporarily transfer her to a mental hospital. She ran on the road. The police escorting her were drugged and didn't know anything. Scar added, Boss didn't tell you because he didn't want you to worry. But Chen Chen said seriously, she must have been rescued by someone. Yes. Scar nodded. Big Bear is already investigating. Zhou Yun suddenly grabbed Chen Chen. You can't come tomorrow. Why? Chen Chen looked at her strangely. Scar echoed. Miss Zhou is right. Tang Yu wanted to die with you last time. Now she is delirious. If she finds you, the consequences will be unimaginable. But Brother Xiao Rui didn't say that I shouldn't go out. Chen Chen thought that if it was dangerous, Jiang Rui wouldn't let her go out. Ahem. Scar hesitated. Because someone is following you to protect you. Chen Chen stared at him. Why didn't I find that? If you found them, they would have lived for nothing. What a joke. They were all elites. They used to protect Song Chuanli. Later, Jiang Rui had a bad relationship with her, so they were taken back. Jiang Rui was a thorn in the side of the terrorists. It was approved by the country to use the power of the army to protect his family. If something happens to you because you come to see me, what should I do? Zhou was scared. You'd better not come these days. Chen was sent home by Scar in person. On the way, she still didn't give up. Scar, what do you think of Zhou? She's very pretty. Scar drove without looking at her. Chen rolled her eyes. She's very pretty, okay? Mrs. Jiang. Scar said uneasily. She's not my type. Feelings can be cultivated. Chen patted him on the shoulder. Take good care of her during this time. Maybe you'll find her good. Scar nodded and agreed, so that Chen wouldn't keep nagging. In the evening, Jiang Rui came back early and brought Hazy back. Woof! Hazy jumped on Tuanzi and licked her so hard that its tail was almost shaken off. Tuanzi touched the dog's head. I know. I'll get you some canned beef. What did it say? Chen came over. Tuanzi ran to the kitchen and brought a can of dog food. Hazy said that the food in the army was not good at all. Really? Chen thought for a while and ran into the kitchen. When Jiang Rui came out of the shower, he saw the little woman lying on the table with a big smile. There was a big bowl of noodles in front of her and a drumstick on it. I cooked it. Chen handed the chopsticks to him. Come on. Jiang Rui touched her face. What did you eat for dinner? These days, he asked the chef to come back to cook for them. The chef was a fat man in his 50s. He was always silly, but he could get along well with Chen. Xiaoxi heard about it and sighed. Birds of a feather flock together. We're eating spicy boiled fish. Chen pushed the bowl toward him. Jiang Rui quickly finished the noodles and the drumstick. Chen asked him with a smile, Is it delicious? It's delicious. Liu's cooking is getting better and better. Jiang Rui kissed her as a reward. Tuanzi came over and added, The sauce was made by the chef and the drumstick was bought in the restaurant. Mom just waited for the water to boil, and then threw the noodles into the pot. Chen rushed over and pressed Tuanzi on the sofa. You unfilial daughter. Dad, look, Mom is angry. Tuanzi was not afraid of her and laughed happily. Jiang Rui pulled Tuanzi out from under Chen and flicked her forehead. Didn't I tell you not to bully Mom? Woo. Chen rushed into Jiang Rui's arms. Let's have an obedient baby. Tuanzi winked at Jiang Rui saying, Look, I'm helping you. Jiang Rui smiled and touched her head. Then he carried Chen back to the room. When Chen almost broke her waist and wanted to push the man away, Jiang Rui held her. Baby, you said you wanted to have an obedient baby. Let's continue. In the morning, Chen woke up and found herself in the man's arms. She bit him first and then went to take a shower angrily. When she was in the shower, Jiang Rui also ran in and massaged her for a long time. Then she was comforted. Why didn't you go to the army today? Chen took the clothes he handed to her and asked, Are we going out? Jiang Rui said while shaving, It's the weekend. Let's go out for dinner. Hey. Chen hugged him from behind shamelessly. Brother Xiao Rui, you look so sexy when you're shaving. Do you want to eat it? Jiang Rui washed his face and turned around to hold her. Chen immediately jumped down from him. I'm starving. Seeing the little woman run faster than a rabbit, Jiang Rui showed a gentle smile in his eyes. Alas! Why was she so cute? Thinking of his daughter's sharp tongue, he was a little dissatisfied. Tuanzi looked like him, but her character and speech were like his brother-in-law. Brother Xiao Rui. Chen ran in panic. Jiang Rui held her. Why are you running so fast? What if you fall? Tuanzi is gone. Chen ran to ask Tuanzi to go out, but found no one in her daughter's room. Even Hazy was gone. Jiang Rui pulled her. When Ziyu took her away early in the morning, where did she go? Swimming in the children's palace. Chen suddenly grabbed him. I didn't have time to ask you yesterday. I know Tangyu ran away. Will she hurt Tuanzi? If she wanted to take revenge on Wan Qingxi, both Tuanzi and her were the weak points of the Wan family. She won't have that chance. Scar had already called him and told him. He thought that the little woman had forgotten it after sleeping with him for a night. Seeing Chen still worried, Jiang Rui helped her put on her shoes. The bodyguards of the Wen family are not to be trifled with. They will protect Wen Ziyu all the time. Don't worry. In fact, Jiang Rui didn't care about the bodyguards of the Wen family. He believed in Tuanzi. With Tuanzi's ability, she could make a judgment before the danger came. Thinking of this, he began to be dissatisfied with the Wen family again. In the future, Wen Ziyu would always be with Tuanzi, which was obviously an advantage. After the weekend, Jiang Rui began to be busy again. The maneuver had entered the final stage. In the blink of an eye, it was June. The previous sequelae were all cured. Chen ran to the hospital energetically again. Congratulations on leaving the hospital. She handed the flowers to Zhou Yun. Zhou Yun took it with a smile. Thank you. Her right arm was still active. The bone had healed, but it would take at least 3 months for her to be able to move. As the saying went, it took 100 days to recover from a serious injury. She was not in a hurry and took it as a vacation. Have you packed up? Scar walked in. The formalities are done. We'll leave when you're done. Chen saw that Scar went to help Zhou Yun out of habit. She blinked her eyes and winked at Zhou Yun ambiguously. Zhou Yun smiled and lowered her head. In the past month, Scar had taken good care of her in every possible way. The two of them were bored in the ward every day. The content of their chat gradually changed from some irrelevant topics to their own life experiences. One night, she accidentally mentioned the black sesame paste her mother made for her before she died. She said that it was the best thing she had ever eaten in her life. Unexpectedly, when she got up the next morning, there were more than a dozen pieces of sesame paste on the table. Have a taste. See which one tastes like the one your mother made. The sesame paste was from different restaurants or dessert shops. She knew the labels on some bowls. One was in South City, and the other was in North City. It would take 2 hours to get there. Are they sent here? Scar handed the spoon to her. I went to buy it. Eat it quickly. That day, the sesame paste tasted better than the one her mother made. But Zhou Yun knew that she didn't deserve Scar. Chapter 456. What's wrong? Scar saw that Zhou Yun suddenly froze and thought it was because of the pain of the wound. Zhou Yun reacted and smiled immediately. It's nothing. Scar looked at her. Seeing that she was fine, he said, I'll go through the formalities and get the medicine by the way. Chen watched Scar go out, and found that Zhou Yun was in a daze again. She poked her. Do you think Scar is a good comrade? Do you want to have a try? Don't joke. Zhou Yun looked at her seriously. Chen, it's impossible for us to be together. Really? But you just... It doesn't matter. Zhou Yun interrupted her. We're from 2 different worlds. It's impossible for us to meet. Chen thought for a while and said seriously, I don't know why you think it's a problem. If 2 people like each other, other problems won't be a problem. Thank you. Zhou Yun shook her head. I know you mean well for me, but... The door of the ward was suddenly pushed open, and a doctor wearing a mask broke in. Chen was about to ask what was going on when the doctor threw away the mask and looked at her fiercely. When Scar came back, he found that Chen and Zhou Yun were gone. Chen bag fell on the ground and all the things inside fell out. Damn it! He screamed and turned to run to the monitoring room. The video clearly showed that Tang Yu, who disguised herself as a doctor, kidnapped Zhou Yun as soon as she went in. Then the 3 of them went to the top floor together. Scar called Jiang Rui and ran to the rooftop quickly. On Tiantai Mountain, Chen was held by Tang Yu. She put a knife against Chen's neck and shouted to Zhou Yun, who was sitting on the ground. How dare you hurt me, you bitch! There was a deep wound on the left side of Tang Yu's face, from the corner of her eye to her mouth, which made her look like a ferocious ghost. Let her go. You can't run away. Zhou Yun got up from the ground with a bloody knife in her hand. She glanced at Scar, who was sneaking close to her, and looked at Tang Yu calmly. Do you think it's worth it? You've finally escaped, but now you're in the trap. If I were you, I would have run away. She slowly moved to the left and Tang Yu followed her, leaving her back to Scar. Tang Yu yelled at her fiercely. Shut up. Who do you think you are? Don't think that I don't know about you. As a star, Tang Yu knew the filthiness of the entertainment industry better than anyone else. She had never stood at the top. Now looking at Zhou Yun, she only felt deep jealousy. Why was this woman so popular? Why was she the national goddess? Who are you trying to impress by putting on that noble and virtuous look? Who knows how many men she has slept with behind my back? Haha. Have you ever had a threesome? How many men have you served? Tang Yu looked at Zhou Yiyun viciously. A female star? Bah, she's just a whore. Zhou Yiyun took a deep breath. So what? She said with contempt. At least I succeeded. What about you? You slept with a man and ended up like this. No matter what, I was more successful. Isn't that so? You bitch. Tang Yu shouted hysterically. Fine. Let's see what you're going to do today. Jump down. She waved the knife in her hand. Zhou Yiyun was stunned. What did you say? Haha, I told you to jump down. Tang Yu said proudly and scratched Chen Chen's face with the knife. Stop. Zhou Yiyun shouted nervously. Don't hurt her. Tang Yu laughed and said, jump down or I'll keep scratching. No. Chen Chen began to struggle. Tang Yu knocked her head with the handle of the knife. Don't move. Chen Chen endured the pain and shouted to Zhou Yiyun, don't listen to her. She hates the Wan family. Even if you jump down, she won't let me go. Yiyun, run. Zhou Yiyun's eyes quietly glanced at a place and slowly walked to the edge of the rooftop. If you'll let Chen Chen go if I jump down, I'll jump down. Jump. If you jump, I'll let her go. Tang Yu shouted arrogantly. Wait a minute. Scratch your face with the knife. Crazy. Chen Chen turned around and shouted at her. Your target is me. Let her go. Tang Yu stared at her fiercely. Shut up. She scratched my face and still wants to leave? No way. How did you hurt me? Now scratch your face. Hurry up. Tang Yu put the knife on Chen Chen's face. Or let her take the knife for you. Zhou Yiyun slowly put the knife on her face. Don't get excited. Don't hurt her. I'll scratch. Ah. Tang Yu suddenly shouted. You lied to me. What do you want to do? Damn it. Scar stood up slowly. He wanted to go to the side so that he could shoot Tang Yu directly. Unfortunately, she found him at the critical moment. Throw the gun away. Throw it away. Tang Yu shouted. Or I'll stab her to death. Scar threw the gun aside, raised his hands and stood with Zhou Yiyun. Don't get excited. As long as you don't hurt Chen Chen, we can talk. Talk. Tang Yu laughed. Okay. Then you scratch her face first. You're crazy. Why do you involve others? Chen Chen wanted to hit Tang Yu with her head, but she was hit again when she was discovered. Zhou Yiyun hurriedly comforted her. Stop. Don't hit her. Or I won't listen to you. Seeing that she put the knife on her face, Scar grabbed her hand. No. It's okay. Plastic surgery is very advanced now. Zhou Yiyun smiled as if she was comforting him. Then she whispered, when I jump, you can take the opportunity to save Chen Chen. Tang Yu didn't hear what she said. Don't talk. Hurry up. Scar didn't let go of her hand. He looked at her deeply. Go. It has nothing to do with you. Go. Chen Chen is my friend. I can't leave her at this time. Zhou Yiyun looked at him with a smile. I don't have many friends. After that, she raised the knife. There was a hideous blood mark on her white and beautiful face. Thick blood slowly oozed out. Ouch! Zhou Yiyun couldn't help but say, it hurts. Scar froze on the spot. He looked at Zhou Yiyun's face for a while, and then turned to stare at Tang Yu. Tang Yu, I'll let you die without leaving any ashes. Ha 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 ha. Tang Yu looked at them crazily. I didn't plan to live. I can't live either. Ha ha ha. She waved her arms. Hurry up. Jump. Jump. Chen Chen cried. She looked at Zhou Yiyun and shook her head. Then she shouted at Scar desperately. Take her away. Take her away quickly. Sister-in-law. Scar couldn't speak, but he couldn't take Zhou Yiyun away. Otherwise, Chen Chen would. Chen Chen stared at him. Scar, are you a man or not? I won't thank you for sacrificing others to save me. If anything happens to Yiyun, I won't be able to live for the rest of my life. Scar. Zhou Yiyun suddenly said, thank you for taking care of me during this time. The face of the woman in front of him was covered with blood. The red flesh on her face was exposed. She looked hideous and horrible. But Scar didn't think she was ugly at all. She was even more beautiful than all the women he had seen before. Zhou Yun's eyes were clean and resolute, which made Scar suddenly stop what he was about to say. Since my mother died, no one has been so nice to me. I also thought about whether you liked me or not. Haha. Zhou Yun smiled. Her smile dazzled Scar in the sunshine. He licked his lips and finally found his voice. I know. Zhou Yun interrupted him. If there is a next life, I will stand in front of you as a clean woman. Then I will have the right to like you. She turned around and climbed to the stone platform on the edge of the rooftop. Chen sobbed and shouted, Scar, take her away. Take her away. Dao Ba stood there motionless, but his heart was in a panic. Zhou Yun had already climbed up. She was also scared. It was the first time for her to stand on the 12th floor and look down. Ha 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 ha. Tang Yu laughed arrogantly. Don't you live a better life than me? I'd like to see how you live in the future. She twisted Chen Chen's chin. It must be sad to see others die for you. Ha ha ha. Don't worry. I'll deal with you slowly. Chen saw Zhou Yun standing on the platform and began to walk. She didn't care about the knife in Tang Yu's hand and turned around to push her. Bitch. Go to hell. Tang Yu didn't expect Chen to be so strong. Seeing that Chen was about to get rid of her, she directly raised the knife and was about to stab her. Bang! After a gunshot, Chen gasped and sat on the ground. She saw that there was a bloody hole between Tang Yu's eyebrows. Scar! Chen didn't care so much and hurriedly shouted. Scar had already held Zhou Yun in his arms. Bear rushed over from the stairway with a group of people. How are you? Are you all right? Chen shook her head. I'm fine. Yun. Take her to the doctor quickly. Scar held Zhou Yun, who had fainted, and ran downstairs. Bear helped Chen up. Mrs. Jiang, can you walk? Where is Brother Xiaorui? Chen held him and slowly went downstairs. In the opposite building. He just shot. Bear hurriedly said. Boss was worried and went to be the sniper himself. When they were halfway, they saw Jiang Rui running up. Before Chen could say anything, she was held in his arms. Brother Xiaorui, I'm fine. Chen patted him on the back. Jiang Rui touched her body for a long time. When he finally saw the wound on her face, his face darkened. You said you were fine? Where are the things you have with you? Hearing him say that, Chen burst into tears. The things Chen Huan made for her were used to protect herself. She always carried them with her. When she went out today, she took a shower and forgot to take the hairpin that could release voltage. If I had a better memory, Zhou Yun wouldn't have been hurt. She leaned on Jiang Rui. Brother Xiaorui, why am I so stupid? Why am I so stupid? Jiang Rui sighed. Okay, let's go down first. Chapter 457. When they returned to the ward, the doctor was dealing with Zhou Yun's wound. Miss Zhou, it will definitely leave a scar. Do you need me to contact a plastic surgeon for you? Scar said in a rough voice. No, I'll arrange it. The doctor had been scared to death by his cold air. Hearing his words, he nodded immediately. Then it's okay. Remember to change the dressing every day. You'd better pay attention to your face. Chen held her with red eyes. Don't worry. I'll make the medicine for you. It won't leave a scar. After such a dangerous situation, Zhou Yun was very weak now. She forced a smile to Chen. It's okay. Plastic surgery is so advanced now. It can be smoothed out. You. Chen sobbed and couldn't say a word. Jiang Rui held her in his arms. Well, let her rest. We'll go back first and come back tomorrow. Then he looked up at Zhou Yun. Thank you. I owe you my life. Chen is my friend. Zhou Yun said calmly. When they left, Jiang Rui called Scar to the door and talked with him for a long time. On the way, Chen pestered him and asked if he should let Scar stay with Zhou Yun. Jiang Rui glanced at her helplessly. Doesn't your head hurt? Chen touched her head in confusion and said, It doesn't hurt. What's wrong? Didn't you say that you were hit twice? Jiang Rui touched her head. I should have asked the doctor to check it just now. I don't want any sequelae. Hearing Jiang Rui's words, Chen remembered that Tang Yu hit her head. Thinking of this, She immediately felt her head buzzing. It hurts. She covered her head. Jiang Rui looked at her with amusement. Well, sleep for a while. Chen Chen answered and put down the seat. She thought that she couldn't fall asleep, but as the car shook, she soon fell asleep. When she woke up again, Tuanzi was lying on the pillow and staring at her. Mom, does it hurt? She touched Chen Chen's face with her little hand. Jiang Rui was afraid that she would rub her face, so he asked the doctor to put a gauze on her face. It doesn't hurt. Chen Chen pinched her daughter's face and found that she seemed to grow taller. No wonder Xia Hong called and said that when Ziyu played basketball every day and measured his height every day for fear that he would be shorter than Tuanzi. Woof woof woof. Hazy stood up with its 2 paws. Tuanzi nodded. Yes, we can't be as forgetful as Mom. Blackie. Woof 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 woof. Tuanzi said. Of course, I'm so smart. Don't whisper in front of me. Chen Chen pointed at the dog's head frantically. Is it despising me again? Tuanzi looked straight ahead and lied. No, Hazy said that even if you put a tape on your face, you would still be beautiful. Really? Chen Chen did not believe it. Blackie. Woof woof woof. Chen Chen withdrew her hand. Stop it. It's useless to lick me. In any case, she wouldn't believe the words of a man and a dog. These 2 fellows had the most poisonous tongues. It was true that the dog was raised by the same person. Daddy left after making lunch. If you don't get up soon, the food will get cold. Tuanzi handed the pajamas to her. Ziyu will pick me up later. We're going to the children's palace to learn swimming. Chen Chen got dressed and ran into the bathroom to brush her teeth. I'll go to the hospital to see Auntie Yun later. Don't forget to take the hairpin made by Grandma. Tuanzi reminded her. Chen Chen waved her hand and nodded vaguely. I know. In the hospital. Zhou Yun didn't react for a while after hearing Scar's words. Are you willing? Scar asked again. Be my girlfriend. Haha, Scar, you don't have to do this. Zhou Yun smiled bitterly. You see, I got injured for Chen Chen. She's my friend. You don't have to blame yourself. Besides, I'll be fine after I have a plastic surgery. Seeing Scar still looking at her stubbornly, Zhou Yun sighed. I'm a star who makes a living with my face. My face is my life. I know how to control my strength when I scratch. I'm not a fool. I won't leave a scar on myself. It has nothing to do with your face. Scar glanced at her. Didn't you say that you'll like me in your next life? Now you don't have to. Zhou Yun blushed and forced herself to say, I thought I was going to die at that time. You know what people say when they're about to die doesn't count. I couldn't think clearly at that time. When people are about to die, their words are kind. Scar looked at her. What people say when they're about to die is their true words. Seeing that he was so persistent, Zhou Yun became impatient. Scar, I said it has nothing to do with you. I don't need you to take responsibility for me. Before Scar spoke, she continued. Do you think no one will want me if I can't get married? Or do you think I should be grateful that you sympathize with me so much? Scar punched the bedside, which scared Zhou Yun. It's not sympathy. The man lowered his head. I like you. Zhou Yun blurted out, liar. You like women who are strong in martial arts. How do you know? Scar stared at her. Chin Chin said so. Zhou Yun grabbed the corner of the quilt. I don't even dare to kill a chicken. Scar grabbed her hand. No, you're very brave inside. His eyes were so bright that Zhou Yun could see her reflection clearly. When you cut your face with a knife to save my sister-in-law. When you climbed up the stone platform, and were about to jump off. Scar's tone was a little excited. You don't know how brave you were at that time. I've never seen you so beautiful. Zhou Yun had heard a lot of sweet words in her life. When the rich second generation chased after her, they couldn't wait to say she was a fairy. When she just started her career, she also had 1 or 2 men with her. They called her baby in bed. But Zhou Yun had never been moved because she knew. Those men were only interested in her face and her body. She was in a mess at that time, with blood all over her face. How could it have anything to do with beauty? But Scar's praise made her eyes red, and tears fell down unconsciously. Don't cry. Scar was anxious. What I said is true. Zhou Yun cried more fiercely. Scar covered the gauze on her face with his hand. You can't cry. It will irritate the wound. How can I cry if you don't tell me these things? Zhou Yun didn't realize that her tone was more like a spoiled lover. Okay, Scar said quickly. I won't say it. I won't say it. Zhou Yun was just about to breathe a sigh of relief when she heard him say, let's talk about it when you get better. Scar made a gesture of surrender. Ian, I asked you if you would like to be my girlfriend. I'm telling you that I want to chase you. You don't have to give me an answer now. A soldier will do what he says. Just wait and see. Zhou Yun still wanted to say something, but suddenly her eyes widened. Scar saw it and hurriedly looked back. Chen was sticking her head out and grinning at him. Just say what you want to say. Don't laugh. Zhou Yun handed a glass of water to Chen. You'll be out of breath later. Chen took it and took a sip. Ha 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 ha. I heard it. What did you hear? Zhou Yun took the glass and put it to her mouth. Okay. Chen glanced at the door. She bet that Scar must be eavesdropping if she didn't eat meat for a week. Zhou Yun stared at her and didn't say anything for a long time. Chen said embarrassedly, Okay. I won't talk nonsense. Then what do you think? I didn't know if Scar liked you before. Now he has confessed his love. What do you think? I still say the same thing. Zhou Yun said lightly, we're from two different worlds. We're not suitable for each other. Chen asked angrily, why not? Why are we from two different worlds? A man and a ghost? Puff. Zhou Yun was amused by her and almost tore the wound on her face. She quickly pursed her lips and said, you know what I mean. I don't know. Chen said angrily. You can just treat him as a soldier. It's hard for soldiers to find girlfriends now. It's the girls who choose them. It's not their turn to choose. Hearing this, Zhou Yun wanted to roll her eyes. Was Scar an ordinary soldier? But Chen kept pestering her, as if she was clinging to her. Later, Zhou Yun had no choice but to pluck up the courage to tell her. Chen, do you know my past? She looked very serious. Chen didn't dare to joke and shook her head seriously. I came to the capital from the countryside at 17 and worked in a restaurant. Zhou Yun looked into the air as if she saw the young and innocent girl. She was discovered by a talent scout and entered an entertainment company. At that time, she naively thought that she could be a star. After half a year of hard training, the first job was to attend a charity ball. At the ball, her so-called agent kept persuading her to drink and sent her to the bed of a director. The 18-year-old girl recognized human nature and the cruel reality of the world that night. She successfully got a supporting role and amazed the world with her own efforts. After that, she began to be targeted by those so-called celebrities and rich businessmen. Zhou Yun knew that she couldn't protect herself at all. So she chose the most suitable one, an overseas Chinese who came back to invest and had a powerful background. She followed the overseas Chinese for 2 years. 2 years later, she had become a movie queen and stood at the top of the entertainment circle. But the overseas Chinese left the country for health reasons. When he left, he asked her if she wanted to go with him. Zhou Yun refused. She finally stood at the top and hadn't enjoyed the dazzling circle yet. After that, Zhou Yun didn't follow any man. She could easily socialize with those men who wanted to sleep with her and protect herself from being hurt. Then I met Officer Jiang. Zhou Yun breathed a long sigh of relief. Her unbearable past was in her memory. She didn't want to touch it unless she had to. Chen looked like she was about to cry. It wasn't the first time you met him at the restaurant on the top of the mountain, right? Yes. Zhou Yun knew that she was talking about Jiang Rui. She nodded and said, the first time I met Officer Jiang was on the bed in the hotel. Chapter 458. Once, Jiang Rui had dinner with the government and was arranged to rest in a hotel room. Zhou Yun was lying naked on the bed, looking at Jiang Rui stubbornly with tears on her face. However, Jiang Rui just glanced at her and strode away. After Officer Jiang left, the one who came in was Scar. Zhou Yun laughed at herself. He said that I could stay alone until dawn, and that I should keep my mouth shut and not talk nonsense. Chin Chin sighed. It seems that Scar left a bad first impression on you. Is that why you refused him? It's not like that. Zhou Yun shook her head. It's my own problem. She asked Chin Chin. If a man saw you at your worst, would you be with him? Hearing this, Chin Chin finally understood what Zhou Yun meant. She felt inferior. But that's all in the past. Chin Chin thought it was a pity. Zhou Yun did like Scar, but it was unfair for both of them to give up a relationship. Zhou Yun lowered her head, and obviously didn't want to continue the topic. Chin Chin had to ask her if the wound on her arm still hurt. She told her that Hua Tua was preparing the medicine, and it could be used when the wound on her face was scarred. Don't worry. I won't leave a scar on your face. Chin Chin took her hand. Take good care of yourself. When you get better, we'll go shopping and have dinner together. When they left, Chin Chin saw Scar standing in the corner dejectedly. You heard it all? Scar nodded. What are you going to do? Give up? No. Scar said firmly. Mrs. Jiang, I like her. Really? Chin Chin curled her lips. Why do you like her all of a sudden? Didn't you say it was impossible? Mrs. Jiang. Scar looked at her eagerly. You heard it just now, didn't you? I really like her. What about her past? Chin Chin asked. You don't mind? You don't dislike it? Scar said sadly. I just hate that I wasn't with her at that time. If I had liked her earlier, she wouldn't have been bullied. It's your fate. Chin Chin sighed and said excitedly. It's not too late now. Take her home and treat her well. I believe she will soon forget the past. I will. Scar smiled. I'm much stronger than boss. If he can catch up to you, hee. All right. Chin Chin patted him on the shoulder and said. Then you have to work hard. Women are all soft-hearted. Besides, it's not that she doesn't like you. Maybe you'll get her soon. The fact that Scar could be with Zhou Yun made Chin Chin very happy. When Jiang Rui returned home in the evening, she began to nag again. Tell me, how many women have you seen in bed? Seeing that the man didn't discuss seriously with her, Chin Chin angrily pinched his neck and asked. Jiang Rui saw that she was angry, so he smiled and held her in his arms. I know. Scar called me this afternoon. Do I need to ask for your permission to be in a relationship? He's just telling me. Jiang Rui removed the gauze on her face and saw a thin scar. Then he was relieved. Don't use your hands to fasten it. Chin Chin nodded carelessly. I know. Jiang Rui kissed her mouth and carried her to the bedroom. Chin Chin tried to struggle. Oh, Tuanzi hasn't come back yet. It's the weekend. Xia Hong took her to the mountains to play. They won't come back until Sunday. Chun Chun was ruthlessly suppressed and tossed around by the man until midnight. When she was about to fall asleep, she heard him say, the maneuver will be over next week. Tuanzi will also have her summer vacation. Where do you want to go? I'm so sleepy. Chin Chin hit him. Oh, then let's sleep. Jiang Rui grabbed the woman's arm and kissed it. Then he fell asleep with her in his arms. On the day when the military maneuver was over, the first place would be awarded a medal. Even Scar couldn't be absent, so Chin Chin went to the hospital early in the morning to accompany Zhou Yun. I heard that it's Officer Zhang's first place again. Chin Chin nodded proudly. That's right. But in the past years, the first place was always Scar's soldier. This time it's Bear's. Then she winked at Zhou Yun. It's my fault. Zhou Yun said embarrassedly. Is it also a military merit? Humph, this kind of military merit is useless. Ozzy didn't go to the store today. She came to join in the fun. My bear said that it only counts if we catch terrorists and thugs. This kind of internal recognition is a commendation, Zhou Yun said with a lingering fear. That's why it said that military merits are exchanged with lives. The three women were in a drama. Time passed very quickly. In the blink of an eye, it was noon. Ozzy yawned and stood up. What do you want to eat? I'll order takeout. As soon as she finished speaking, her phone rang. Hello, Bear. Have you finished over there? Come and pick us up for lunch. What? Ozzy's face changed. Okay. I got it. Chun Chun and Zhou Yun both saw that something was wrong with her. What's wrong? Ozzy looked at Chun Chun with hesitation. Chun Chun's heart skipped a beat. Did something happen to brother Xiao Rui? Jiang Rui was locked up. After Ozzy finished speaking, she saw Chen Chen's face turn pale. She hurriedly said, "Let me finish." Jiang Rui had just received the medal this morning when the special investigation team arrived. The leader was Bai Ziki. Officer Jiang. His expression was a little strange. Jiang Rui asked indifferently, "Are they here to arrest me?" "The Liu family accused you of murder." Bai Ziki looked at him. "They said you killed the brothers of the Liu family." Oh, Jiang Rui was still expressionless. "Then let's go." Bai Ziki couldn't help but stop him. "Officer Jiang Yu, aren't we here to assist in the investigation?" Jiang Rui glanced at him. "I didn't kill anyone. What are you afraid of?" Bai Ziki was relieved to hear what he said. He nodded to Bear and the other two. "Don't worry. I'll take care of him." When they were far away, Xiao Si said to Scar, "You didn't save the boy of the Bai family in vain." "Haha, I've waited for so long. I thought Lu Tao wouldn't do it." Scar sneered. "He really knows how to find the time to do it on such an occasion. What about Mrs. Jiang? Should we hide it from her?" Bear waved his hand. "We can't hide it. I'm afraid it will be reported on TV later." "Yeah." Scar nodded. How could Lu Tao not take advantage of such a good opportunity? After hearing Ozzy's words, Chen Chen still asked uncertainly, "Bear said they were prepared? Really? Oh, how many times have you asked?" Ozzy gnawed the chicken feet impatiently. "Your god of war has been prepared for a long time. Otherwise, you suffered so much last time. Did you see him do anything to the Liu family?" Zhou Yun also comforted her. "Officer Jiang is so powerful. He'll be fine." As soon as they finished speaking, they heard the news on TV. It said that an important person in the military was suspected of murder and had been taken away for investigation. It was the scene that Jiang Rui was taken to the car. "No, I'm going to find him." Chen Chen suddenly stood up. Ozzy stopped her. "You'll make trouble if you go there." Chen Chen's phone rang. Ozzy glanced at it and said, "Answer it. It's your uncle." "Lulu," Jiang Qianren said over the phone. "You already know, right?" "Will brother Xiao Rui be okay?" Chen Chen asked. "I can ask my dad for help." Jiang Qianren hurriedly said, "He's fine. Don't worry, Lulu. Xiao Rui has arranged everything. Just wait and see." "Gosh, he's always like this. He never tells me." Chen Chen was a little angry. It would have been better to remind her earlier. Everyone else knew except her. Xiao Rui is afraid that you'll overthink if you know." Jiang Qianren comforted her for a long time, and then hung up the phone. Ozzy pulled her to sit down. "Don't worry. I won't talk to him anymore." Chen Chen rolled her eyes. Zhou Yun pursed her lips and smiled. "You don't know how lucky you are. Do you know how many women envy you?" Chen Chen tried to hold back her laughter. Ozzy poked her face. "Look at how proud you are. You'll be alone in the room tonight." "That's great," Chen Chen said in her mind. "Otherwise I'll be eaten up again." The cold officer Jiang in front of others was a bandit and a rogue in bed. "Hey, you don't know yet. Your father has been arrested." Tuanzi was about to leave the classroom when she was stopped by a little girl. She didn't even look at her and went straight out. Wenziyu was waiting at the door of the classroom. Seeing Tuanzi come out, he quickly reached out his hand. "Tuanzi, you came to my house today. Your father called." "Wenziyu." The little girl blushed when she saw him. "You're still playing with her? Her father has been arrested. Ugly girl, stay away from me." Wenziyu pulled Tuanzi back with disgust. The little girl pouted and was about to cry. "You. How can you do this? Don't think that I don't know that you always scold Tuanzi in private. If Tuanzi hadn't stopped me, I would have taught you a lesson." Wenziyu pulled a long face. Probably because he had been with Tuanzi for a long time, he didn't look like an 8 or 9-year-old kid at all. Tuanzi pulled him. "Let's go." "Okay." His expression instantly became flattering. "You said you wanted to eat matsutake rice last time. Mom specially asked someone to make it today." "Yes. You did well just now. You have the style of Uncle One." "Tuanzi, don't worry. I will definitely be more handsome than my dad in the future." The little girl behind him burst into tears. The teacher watched from the beginning to the end, and didn't care about her at all. He turned around and pretended not to see her. Chen couldn't fall asleep at night. Even if they said that Jiang Rui was fine, she was still worried. The phone suddenly rang. Chen picked it up and her eyes lit up. Brother Xiao Rui. She cried as soon as she opened her mouth. Jiang Rui was shocked. Lulu. Didn't uncle call you? He called. But I'm still worried. Ooh. Chen sobbed and asked, Brother Xiao Rui, when will you come back? Lulu, I'm sorry. Jiang Rui felt sorry for her. I didn't tell you earlier because I was afraid that you would be worried. It'll take a few days. I'll go back on the day of the court hearing. Chen was stunned. The court hearing? They're going to sentence you? No. Jiang Rui heard that she was about to cry again and hurriedly said, It's a long story. Do you want to hear it? Yes. Chen sniffed. You have to tell me in advance in the future, or I'll ignore you. Jiang Rui smiled. Okay, I'll tell you later. Chapter 459. Jiang Rui told Chen about what had happened. Chen didn't quite understand some of the complicated parts, but she knew Jiang Rui would be fine. That was enough. Good girl. I won't make you suffer these days. If you are afraid, you can take Zhouyin home. Originally, he wanted Tuanzi to accompany Chen, but if he did that, Chen would feel that something was wrong. Jiang Rui had to make no other arrangement, but he was still worried about her staying at home alone. No need. I'm not a kid. Chen was relieved and spoke sweetly, which made Jiang Rui's heart itch. Later, he coaxed Chen to sleep and didn't hang up until he heard the sound of steady breathing. Jiang Rui rubbed his numb arms and stood up. Come in. Baiziki pushed the door open and came in. It was a separate bedroom. No one knew that the special operations team had such a hotel-like room besides the prison. What's your plan? Baiziki didn't care about the title and asked directly. Are you going to deal with the Liu family? Jiang Rui glanced at him and said, Your sister. My sister is not in a good mood these days. She can't be stimulated anymore. Oh. Jiang Rui sat down and said, So you hid the news that Han Shuiying was pregnant from her? Or you believed Lu Tao's words that the baby would be raised by your sister after it was born? Seeing Baiziki's face change, Jiang Rui continued. Old Master Bai doesn't care about Bai Weirong's life. He only cares about you and the Bai family. But you can't do that. You investigated Lu Tao in private. You know it. Baiziki sat opposite Jiang Rui awkwardly. Brother Jiang. He looked at him with pleading eyes. I don't want Weirong's last hope to be broken. As long as I'm in the army and the Bai family doesn't fall, he must take care of my sister. Baiziki was also shocked when he knew what Lu Tao had done. He didn't expect that his grandfather would make a mistake. Do you think he will tolerate it? Jiang Rui sneered. Once he gets rid of me, he will deal with the Bai family next. Baiziki hurriedly said. I know he is no match for you. Let's not talk about me. Let's talk about the Bai family. Jiang Rui looked at him. Do you know that Lu Tao did something to the last batch of military vehicles? And all the evidence shows that it was Mr. Bai who asked him to do it. Then the Bai family will be finished. How could it be? Baiziki suddenly stood up. How dare he? Jiang Rui glanced at him. Why wouldn't he dare? What you found is just the tip of the iceberg. Go and check it out in Eastern Europe. Baiziki was frightened. You mean? Jiang Rui waved his hand and said, check it yourself. Baiziki stumbled away. He knew what Eastern Europe represented. If Lu Tao really had connections with terrorists, his father would be the first to punish him. Chen was woken up by the doorbell. She rubbed her eyes to open the door and saw Zhou Yin standing at the door. I knew you didn't get up. Zhou Yin walked in and shook the cake box in her hand. She took off her hat and sunglasses. Scar said that you like the desserts here the most. Wash your face and come over to eat. Chen ran to the bathroom, cleaned herself up, and came over while clapping her hands. Why are you here? Can I leave the hospital? My foot is not broken. Scar went back to the army today. He said that you were alone, so he asked me to come over to accompany you. Zhou took a plate. Is this okay? She took 2 plates with cartoon characters. It's so funny to think that Officer Jiang also eats with this plate. Haha. Chen laughed with her. Brother Xiaorui didn't say that. He bought this plate. Zhou quickly cut the cake and handed it to Chen. Alas, I'm afraid that no one will believe that Officer Jiang is like this at home. Not only that, no one would believe that Jiang Rui could be so nice to a woman. You can do it too. Chen glanced at her. Scar will also love his wife. You can see that from Bear. He is so nice to Ozzy. Zhou pretended that she didn't hear it. I also bought some vegetables. Let me cook at noon. Can your arm do it? You cut the vegetables and I'll cook. The news outside had spread everywhere. Jiang Rui had been locked up for 3 days. Jiang Qianren went there every day for a talk. Even Master Jiang went there once. But there was no sign that Jiang Rui was going to be released. Not only that, he would be taken to the military court and tried in public on the 4th day. Bear specially came to tell her that the court would be held tomorrow. Boss said that if you want to go, I'll come to pick you up tomorrow. Of course. Chen said immediately. Is it okay? Not really, but there will definitely be a lot of reporters. Just ignore them when the time comes. Chen nodded and noted it down. Okay, I know. The next day, Bear drove her and Ozzy to the court. The door was full of reporters. They were surrounded and couldn't move. Mrs. Jiang, do you know that Officer Jiang killed people? If Officer Jiang is sentenced, will the Wan family do anything? Mrs. Jiang, please say something. Scar and Xiaoxi ran out with a few people. They protected Chen in the middle and entered the court. Oh my god, it's so scary. Ozzy patted her chest. I feel like I'm going to be trampled to death by those reporters. Bear led them to sit in the first row. That's all they can do. Seeing Chen serious face, Scar patted her and said, Mrs. Jiang, you don't have to be so nervous. Boss has already arranged it. Okay, I'm not nervous. Then why are you trembling? Ozzy despised her. You are the wife of Officer Jiang. How can you be frightened by such a scene? Chen ignored her and pulled Scar to ask, where is Brother Xiaorui? He will come out from that door later. Scar pointed to the door on the left. Don't worry. When you see Boss, you will know that he is fine. A few minutes later, the court announced that the court was in session. Jiang Rui walked in. He was still wearing a military uniform and looked the same as usual. Baiziki stood beside him and smiled at Chen. The judge first announced Jiang Rui's crime, saying that he killed the 2 brothers of the Lu family in private. Then the victim, Lu Tao, was invited to sit. My 2 uncles thought that Jiang Rui killed my cousin, so they wanted to take revenge on him in private. But they were caught by Jiang Rui's men before they could do anything. Lu Tao complained. That night, they called me and said that Jiang Rui would never let them go. They asked me to call the police for them. But before I could do that, I received the news that they were taken away. Later, I tried to inquire about it and found out that they were not taken to the police station, but were taken away by Jiang Rui in private. After Lu Tao finished speaking, he looked at Jiang Rui with grief and indignation. Officer Jiang, where did you hide my uncle's bodies? Since they are dead, let them rest in peace. Don't you know it? Jiang Rui said lightly. Haven't you sent someone to look for them? Lu Tao looked at the judge. Yes, I am anxious, so I have sent someone to look for them. They will bring the news back soon. After he finished speaking, he lowered his head and pretended to be sad. But he couldn't help but want to laugh. Jiang Rui, let me see how you can quibble this time. It took him half a month to find the whereabouts of his 2 uncles. He knew that they were secretly killed by Jiang Rui, and even their bodies were disposed of. His men spent a lot of effort to find some blood-stained clothes and relics. 2 people came in at the door, and one of them carried a big box. Judge, we have tested the things inside. It is indeed the blood of the 2 brothers of the Lu family. The staff put out all the things inside. In addition to the blood-stained clothes, there were also a lighter and a watch. Jiang Rui, what else do you have to say now? Lu Tao shouted with grief and indignation. Judge, please give justice to our Lu family. The judge looked at Jiang Rui. These reports have your fingerprints. Do you have anything to explain? Jiang Rui still looked indifferent. I have nothing to explain. You plead guilty. Lu Tao was stunned. He had prepared a lot of things to say. How could Jiang Rui plead guilty so quickly? Who said I plead guilty? Jiang Rui turned to look at Bear. You have finished. It's my turn. Bear stood up and handed a document to the messenger. The judge took it and opened it. He frowned more and more. I think these should be handed over to the ordinary court. The Frenchman glanced at Jiang Rui. Jiang Rui nodded. I have no objection. What are you going to do? Lu Tao was anxious. Shouldn't you put him on trial first? Scar suddenly stood at the door and interrupted Lu Tao's shouting. Our boss doesn't need to be interrogated because your two uncles are not dead at all. Nonsense. Lu Tao roared. Judge, don't you care? There are so many reporters waiting outside. Are you going to let him go for personal reasons? Lu Tao, you bastard. A loud roar came. Lu Tao trembled and slowly turned around. He pointed at the two people who came in. Uncles. Second uncle? The Lu brothers rushed over, grabbed him and beat him. You bastard. Give me back my son's life. The bailiff hurried to stop the fight, and the judge reprimanded them for not fooling around in the court. Since the Lu brothers are not dead, Jiang Rui is released. Lu Tao was pressed to the ground by the bailiff, looking at Jiang Rui in a daze. It turns out that you already knew. You did it on purpose. You set me up? Jiang Rui walked to him. You are not qualified to be my opponent. You asked for it. No. Lu Tao struggled to stand up. I don't believe it. I didn't lose. I didn't lose. Lu Tao punched him hard. From today on, you have nothing to do with the Lu family. I will let you stay in jail for the rest of your life. The bailiff took Lu Tao away, and the Lu brothers couldn't run away either. They hurt Chen, so Jiang Rui wouldn't let them go so easily. The Lu family is finished. By Ziki's side. By the way, Han Shuiying ran away. Jiang Rui turned around and smiled. She can't run away. You have predicted everything. Bai Ziki smiled bitterly. I thought I just lost to age and experience. Now I know that I am far behind you. It's good that you know. Jiang Rui walked past him and said, It's not bad. Chapter 460. Jiang Rui was acquitted. Before anyone realized it, the news that the Lu family had been sealed up came. Then it was revealed that Lu Tao had something to do with his cousin and his grandfather's death. Before anyone could recover from the news, a 10-year-old child ran out and said that he was Lu Tao's son, but his mother was killed by Lu Tao. Everyone was overwhelmed by the news, but Chen looked at Jiang Rui with an unfathomable look. Come here. Jiang Rui waved his hand. Why are you sitting so far away? The man had just taken a shower, with a faint smell of soap on him. Chen got into his arms. Brother Xiaorui. What's wrong? Jiang Rui pinched her ears. He hadn't held the little woman for several days, and he missed her very much. Chen raised her head and said sadly, It's so pitiful to be your enemy. I don't even know that I've been killed. Since Lu Tao started to plot against the Lu family, all his actions had been under Jiang Rui's control. Jiang Rui fully embodied the saying, the mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. He's too stupid. Jiang Rui smiled. As long as I want to know the things in the capital, no matter how big or small they can't be hidden from me. Chen squinted at him. That's why I said you were horrible. What are you afraid of? Jiang Rui patted her head. Silly, the more powerful I am, the less others dare to bully you. Otherwise, your father and brother wouldn't marry you to me. All right. Chen suddenly sat up. Scar said that Han Shuiying was pregnant. Now Lu Tao has been arrested. What about her? Jiang Rui snorted. I gave her to Bai Wirong. Oh my god. Chen covered her mouth. You're so bad. Could Han Shuiying still be alive? Han Shuiying was still alive, and living well. She had already moved to Lu Tao's villa. When the police came to seal it up, she ran away with all her belongings. However, the car was stopped halfway. Before she had time to see who it was, her eyes were covered. The car kept moving. After a long time, someone took off her blindfold. The dazzling light made Han Shuiying squint. She found herself standing in a hall with exquisite decoration and a large house. Judging from the height, it should be a villa. Miss Han. A fat middle-aged woman greeted her politely. Who are you? Where is this place? Han Shuiying covered her stomach and took a few steps back. The middle-aged woman looked at her with a gentle smile. Don't be afraid. It's very chaotic outside now. You can stay here and take care of the baby. When the baby is born, he will be the only heir of the Lu family. You work for Lu Tao? Han Shuiying asked happily. Did he ask you to take care of me? Miss Han, you can call me Aunt Zhang. She nodded at the two people at the door. Quickly send Miss Han's luggage up. Hearing this, Han Shuiying felt relieved. Her heart was filled with gratitude towards Lu Tao. This man was really good. He even knew to arrange a way out for her. She hoped that he could come out soon. Seeing that she had relaxed, Auntie Zhang brought her a glass of milk. For the next 6 months, I will stay here to take care of Miss Han. For the sake of the child, please don't run around. Otherwise, if you are caught by someone with ill intentions, it will be detrimental to the Lu family. Don't worry. Han Shuiying waved her hand. I know. I care more about this child than you do. She touched her belly and suddenly thought of something. Didn't they say that Lu Tao's 2 uncles had illegitimate children outside? Will they be detrimental to me? Auntie Zhang smiled. Miss Han, don't worry. They can't even take care of themselves now. Besides, illegitimate children are not qualified to inherit the Lu family. That's good. Han Shuiying stood up. Cook something for me. I'm going to take a bath. She raised her head and ordered. Seeing that Auntie Zhang agreed respectfully, she went upstairs happily. But she didn't see that behind her back, Auntie Zhang looked at her as if she was looking at a dead person. Boss, Lu Tao will be sentenced to death. His 2 uncles have to stay in prison for 10 years because of old Master Bai's tricks. Bear told Jiang Rui the internal news. Jiang Rui leaned on the chair with an expression of sure enough. Lu Tao shouldn't have contacted the terrorists. That's old Master Bai's sore spot. He was the same as Jiang Min. He could fight with his own people, but he would never betray others. This country was built by them with their blood and flesh. They would never allow anyone to destroy its stability and unity. Also, Han Shuiying was arranged by Bai Weirong to live in the Bai family's villa in the suburb. She didn't show up? Bear shook his head. It seems that Han Shuiying doesn't know that it was Bai Weirong who caught her. Good. Jiang Rui lifted the corner of his mouth. Finally, she is smart for once. Bear frowned. What does that woman want to do? She wants the Lu family. Jiang Rui stood up. Han Shuiying is pregnant with Lu Tao's child. If they both die, then the child. Ah, Bear suddenly understood. She will die and the child will stay. Jiang Rui nodded and picked up the car key. That's why I said she is smart for once. On the way home, Jiang Rui called Jiang Min grandpa. How is she recently? Jiang Min seemed to be in a good mood. She is fine. She occasionally loses her temper. I keep a close eye on her and she can't go out. At most, she can wander around the yard. That's good. Jiang Rui paused and said, the Bai family wants to take over the Lu family. Oh. Jiang Min sneered. The child in Han Shuiying's belly is a good bargaining chip. Jiang Rui said. How can Bai Weirong think of killing the mother and keeping the child? She will definitely kill the child directly. That's right. It's definitely old Bai's idea. Jiang Min said. If Bai Weirong keeps the child, no one will know it is not her own after more than 10 years. Jiang Min couldn't help scolding old Bai. Jiang Rui smiled. Don't worry. I won't let the Bai family take advantage of the loophole so easily. This is the game I play. If they want to take advantage of it, they have to ask for my permission. Ahem. Jiang Min said awkwardly. Well, that's enough. Old Bai can't live for more than a few days. Don't die with regrets. Ha. Don't worry, Grandpa. I know what to do. Jiang Rui hung up the phone and drove directly to the restaurant. Zhou Yun had her first dermabrasion today. Scar and Xianqing wanted to congratulate her. When he arrived, Scar was standing at the door in a daze. What's wrong? Scar's eyes lit up when he saw him. Boss, what should we do? Ian won't agree. Did she drive you away and tell you not to come to her? Jiang Rui asked. She didn't. Scar shook his head. But she always refuses me. Jiang Rui squinted at him. Don't worry. You have to be patient to chase a woman. While they were talking, Chen Chen heard his voice inside. Brother Xiao Rui? Is that you? Yes, it's me. Jiang Rui answered and walked in. Scar followed him gloomily. When Zhou Yiyun saw him, she was still very nervous and wanted to stand up. Officer Jiang, what are you doing? Chen Chen stared at her with dissatisfaction. How can you be so polite to your friends? Jiang Rui smiled. Lulu is right. You don't have to be so polite. Just call me by my name. Haha. Zhou Yiyun also smiled. I'm not used to it for a while. Scar came over. You can call him boss like me. You have to get used to it in the future. Haha. Zhou Yiyun twitched the corner of her mouth and looked down at the menu. Chen Chen rolled her eyes and approached Jiang Rui. Brother Xiao Rui, I want to ask for a leave for Scar. Jiang Rui pinched her face. What are you going to do? Look at Yiyun's face. Chen Chen pointed at Zhou Yiyun. The scar on the left side of Zhou Yiyun's face was still very deep, but it was much better than before. At least it didn't look so hideous. The doctor today said that foreign technology is better than domestic technology, so it's more likely for her to go abroad for plastic surgery. Chen Chen curled her lips. The medicine that Hua Tua and I developed together couldn't make her face recover completely, and the effect was too slow. Jiang Rui glanced at Scar. Are you going to go abroad with her for treatment? Yes. Scar nodded. Zhou Yiyun hurriedly waved her hand. I don't need you to go with me. I'll go by myself. Okay. Jiang Rui nodded. Let Xiaoxi arrange it for you. Chen Chen clapped her hands happily. Zhou Yiyun wanted to say something, but Jiang Rui glanced at her, and she didn't dare to say anything. The two women didn't know that it was very dangerous for Scar to go abroad alone. He was also a well-known figure among the terrorists, so Jiang Rui asked Xiaoxi to arrange it for him. 3 days later, Scar left with Zhou Yiyun. No one knew what he said, but Zhou Yiyun's agent didn't go with her, and didn't even bring an assistant with her. When Chen Chen saw them off at the airport, she joked that they were going on a honeymoon. It was already mid-July, and the summer vacation had begun. Chen Chen discussed with Tuanzi, and decided to go to Disneyland in Harbor City. Unfortunately, Xia Hong had business to discuss, so she had to leave when Ziyu to Chen Chen. Azi was going to go with them, but the day before they left, Chen Chen was talking to her on the phone and heard her say, "Oh, I need to pee." Then there was a thud, followed by Bear's cry of horror. Jiang Rui drove Chen Chen to the hospital, only to see Bear standing at the door like a fool. What's wrong with Azi? Chen Chen was frightened by his expression, and her voice was trembling. Bear raised his head. Chen Chen saw his pale face and burst into tears. Azi. What's wrong with Azi? Tell me. Jiang Rui kicked Bear. Bear stammered she's pregnant. Bang. Chen Chen also gave him a kick. Then Azi came out of the clinic, with a chicken foot in her mouth. Hi. Little Chen, why are you here? Chen Chen said angrily. What do you think? Pregnancy is so scary. What did the doctor say? It's only been a month. Ozzy knocked on her belly, and Bear was so scared that he hurriedly grabbed her hand. Be careful, my dear. My son is inside. Everything seemed to be developing in a good direction. This summer was especially exciting. When Chen Chen came back from Disneyland, it occurred to her that she should call Zhou Yiyun. Chapter 461. But Jiang Rui stopped her. Don't call. It won't get through. Chen Chen looked at him blankly. Why? Jiang Rui put the suitcase away and took out all the gifts she brought back. Brother Xiao Rui? Chen Chen looked panicked. Is there something wrong? Holding her in his arms, Jiang Rui said slowly. Last night, I received a call from Xiaoxi. He said that he lost contact with Scar. What do you mean by lost contact? Chen Chen grabbed his sleeve. Missing. Jiang Rui patted her to comfort her. There is a tracker on Scar. Yesterday, Xiaoxi suddenly found that the tracker didn't work, so he called him. But the phone was turned off. He called the landline, but no one answered. What do you mean? Chen didn't want to say what she was thinking. Lulu. Jiang Rui looked at her seriously. Scar and Zhou Yun may have been kidnapped by terrorists. Chen burst into tears. No, it's impossible. Calm down. Jiang Rui shook her. It's not that bad. If I'm right, it should be the group of people that Long Zhenao knows. Their target is me. They won't hurt Scar for the time being. Chen looked at him blankly. Jiang Rui sighed. Lulu, I have to go there myself. No. Chen held him. You can't go there. They just want to catch you. You can't go there yourself. I have to go. Jiang Rui raised her head. Scar is waiting for me. Chen looked at him with tears in her eyes, but she couldn't say a word. That was his brother, his comrade in arms. And Zhou Yun, who had saved her life. She had no reason not to let Jiang Rui go. Okay, I'll go too. Jiang Rui's face darkened. Nonsense. What are you going to do? Chen didn't know what to say. Yeah. What was she going to do? Drag him down. That night, Jiang Rui stayed in the army and didn't come back. Chen couldn't fall asleep at home. Bear sent the pregnant Azi over. Don't worry. They will come back. Azi comforted her. I told Bear that if he doesn't come back, I'll remarry with his son. Chen glanced at her. If she said the same thing to brother Xiaorui, she would definitely be beaten. They were still in the mood to joke, but the atmosphere on Jiang Rui's side was very serious. He had received a delivery this afternoon. Inside the delivery was a severed finger. We did a DNA comparison. It's Scar's. Hua Tuo finished his sentence. Hua Tuo slammed his fist on the table. Damn it. I'm going to kill them. Boss. De Xiong stood up. We can't wait any longer. Jiang Rui clenched his fists and said, Tell everyone to get ready. We'll leave in 3 hours. What about Long Zhenao? Xiaoxi asked. Without him we can't get on the island. I'll ask Wan Qingxi to send them there directly. We'll meet on the island of the Wen family. Jiang Rui stood up and walked out of the door. Bear, come home with me. Xiaoxi will pick us up later. When he reached the door, he paused for a moment and said in a low voice, As usual, write your will. Chen had a bad feeling when she heard the door open. After Jiang Rui and Bear came in, neither of them said a word. You're leaving now? She began to sob. Brother Xiaorui. Jiang Rui held her in his arms and went into the room. Bear picked up Azi and sat down on the sofa. Azi, my insurance beneficiary has been changed to you. Your name has been added to all the properties in the family. All the money in the bank is in those 3 cards. The password is your birthday. What are you doing? Azi stared at him. I'm telling you. If you don't come back, I'll raise Xiaobai with all the money. Bear held her tightly. Azi. Azi's eyes turned red. You have to come back. Do you hear me? You have to come back. Otherwise, I'll jump down from the building with the child. Don't talk nonsense. Bear kissed her hard. You have to live well with the child. In the room, Chen cried silently and looked at Jiang Rui motionlessly. Lulu, when all the sand in this hourglass falls to the bottom, I'll be back. Jiang Rui took out a blue hourglass from his pocket. Chen took it and held it in her hand. How long will it take? 3 days. Jiang Rui held her in his arms. I'll be back in 3 days. What he didn't say was that if he didn't come back in 3 days, he would probably never come back. Chen bit Jiang Rui's collar hard to stop herself from crying out. Good girl. It's all right. Jiang Rui stroked her back. It's not the first time for me to go on a mission. I used to be able to destroy a base alone. This time, we've brought a lot of men. We'll definitely get Scar and Zhou Yun out. Chen nodded desperately. You have to come back. Come back the way you left. Don't get hurt at all. Then they didn't say anything. Jiang Rui kissed her gently, licked the tears of the woman in his arms into his mouth, and then hugged and kissed each other passionately. Time always passed quickly at this time. The phone rang and Jiang Rui let go of Chen. I'm leaving. Wait for me to come back. Chun Chun cried so hard that she was out of breath. Okay. In the living room, Azi was probably tired from crying and fell asleep. Bear was staring at her face without blinking. Let's go. Jiang Rui opened the door and saw Tuanzi rushing out of the elevator. Dad. She jumped into Jiang Rui's arms. Take Hazy with you. He can help you. Hazy barked, woof. Jiang Rui kissed his daughter. Okay. When Dad is not here, you have to stay with Mom. Don't let her think too much. Tuanzi nodded seriously. I will. You have to come back soon. Chun Chun grabbed Jiang Rui's clothes and didn't want to let go, but Jiang Rui didn't want to break it with force. In the end, Tuanzi dragged Chun Chun home, and Jiang Rui left without looking back. This was the first time that he was afraid. He was afraid that he couldn't save Scar, and that he couldn't come back alive. This kind of worry was replaced by surprise when the plane landed on the island of the Wen family, and he heard the news provided by Wen Pintang's men. Are you sure that we can go in from the bottom of the sea? Jiang Rui didn't dare to have any hope. Long Zhenao, who arrived earlier than him, also said happily, I've seen the pictures they took. We can definitely go up. Great. Bear and Xiaoxi waved their fists excitedly. They had estimated the number of casualties before. Even with Long Zhenao leading the way, it was impossible to attack the island without sacrificing anyone. In particular, they had to save people. Now all these were solved. Wen Pintang's subordinate was a young man named Wen Yu. He had been responsible for tracking Kutch, and had been investigating in this sea area for more than half a year. That underwater cave was originally not accessible. It should have been opened by the recent migration of sea turtles or large fish when they passed by. When you took out the drawn map. Let's go in from here. The exit should be in the south of the island. He glanced at Long Zhenao. It's up to him. Is your body okay? Jiang Rui asked Wan Qingxi. Long Zhenao shrugged and didn't say anything. The bomb in his body has been taken out. In order not to let Kutch find it, he put it in the bionic heart. Jiang Rui nodded. So he can go to the island openly. Hey! Long Zhenao interrupted him with dissatisfaction. What if Kutch already knows that I betrayed him? Then wouldn't I be courting death? Wan Qingxi looked at him. That's your value. Otherwise, why would we spend so much effort to save you? Tut, so heartless. Long Zhenao muttered. They quickly made a plan. The submarine was too big to go over, so they had to dive over by themselves. When it got dark, they were ready to set off. I'll wait for you here. If you die, I'll take your body back to Lulu. Wan Qingxi looked at Jiang Rui and said, Or do you need me to go with you? Jiang Rui raised his eyebrows. No, you can't even beat me. What can you do? The two men suddenly quieted down and then punched each other with their fists. Go. Wan Qingxi looked at him. Jiang Rui turned around and left. More than a dozen people put on diving suits and silently passed through the bottom of the sea. Long Zhenao took Wan Qingxi, who was disguised as a crew member, and the people of the Wan family to sail the boat directly from the sea and stopped in front of the island. Hey! When he got off the boat, Wan Qingxi suddenly called him. Long Zhenao looked at him questioningly. Be careful. Wan Qingxi kept a straight face. Haha. I will. Kutcher had already known when the boat entered the sea area. He stood at the dock and waited for him. You are willing to come back? Kutcher kept a straight face. Long Zhenao said indifferently. Didn't you keep urging me to come back? You didn't bring Jiang Rui's daughter back. Why did you come back alone? Long Zhenao ignored him and walked into the base. Kutcher followed him, with a fierce look in his eyes. After they went in, Kutcher stopped him. Where are you going? To see the hostages you caught. Long Zhenao smiled. You caught Jiang Rui's brother, Scar, and his girlfriend. Why? Do you think I don't know? Kutcher said angrily. Since you can find out the information so clearly, why can't you bring back a child? Is that an ordinary child? Long Zhenao said as he walked into the depths of the base. You want to see Scar? Kutcher followed him closely. Long Zhenao glanced at him. Can't I? I'll take you there. Kutcher then asked him. Have you ever met him? Long Zhenao nodded. We met twice, But we didn't talk much. Kutcher thought for a while after hearing that. I guess Jiang Rui has already come. He must be in this sea area. You came back just in time. I'll leave Scar to you. Opening a heavy iron door, Long Zhan Ao saw that Scar was lying on 2 iron rings. His body was covered with blood, and there was probably no part of his body that was still intact. Isn't there a woman? Long Zhan Ao turned his back to Kutcher and clenched his fists. Kutcher pointed to the small door next to him. There she is inside. Long Zhan Ao leaned over and casually looked inside. Oh, she looks good. She didn't move? Zhou Yun leaned against the corner of the wall. She was dirty and looked pale. She looked haggard, but it could be seen that she had never been bullied. Haha, Scar is infatuated. If anyone dares to touch this woman, he will go crazy and commit suicide. Kutcher spat. This woman is worthless. If Scar dies, Jiang Rui won't come to save her. Chapter 462. Long Zhan Ao walked to Scar and stared at him for a long time. Seeing that he didn't respond, he turned around and yawned. It's boring. Let's go. I'm going to sleep. Remember to come back tomorrow. Kutcher reminded him. Got it. Long Zhan Ao had gone far away and waved his hand casually. The island at night was like a sleeping giant turtle. Under the moonlight, shadows passed through the trees one by one. Boss Long Zhan Ao is here. Xiao Si pointed at the blue spot on the locator. He has turned off the monitor on this road. Jiang Rui looked around and said, You wait here. I'll go with Bear. Following the route marked by Long Zhan Ao on the locator, Jiang Rui and Bear found his room smoothly. Change your clothes quickly. Long Zhan Ao threw 2 black uniforms that were the same as his. Scar's condition is not very good. Zhou Yun is fine. Jiang Rui and Bear didn't ask about Scar's condition. They knew what they should do now. After changing the clothes quickly, Long Zhan Ao opened the door and said, Follow me. There were guards every few steps along the way. When the guards saw Long Zhan Ao, they all nodded slightly and ignored Jiang Rui and Bear who followed him. Remember the way. There is only one way. Have you figured out how to get out later? Long Zhan Ao walked in front of them with no expression. If his mouth wasn't moving, no one could tell that he was talking. Similarly, Jiang Rui also lowered his head and whispered, Xiao Si will make some noise later. Let's rush out in the chaos. When they arrived at the place where Scar was locked up, the 2 guards at the door saw Long Zhan Ao and asked him curiously, Mr. Long, why are you here so late? Haha, I'm here to talk to that woman. Long Zhan Ao said with a fake smile. Hearing that, the guard showed an understanding look and said in a low voice, Well, you have to be careful. Don't kill him. Otherwise, Kutcher's father won't be able to explain it. I know what I'm doing. Long Zhan Ao pushed the door open and paused. He said deliberately, You 2 come in and help me keep an eye on this guy in case he wants to die. Jiang Rui and Bear followed him in. The guards closed the door with a lewd smile. Scar. As soon as the door was closed, Bear rushed over. He put Scar down and poured glucose into his mouth. Jiang Rui and Long Zhan Ao went inside to carry Zhou Yun out. Scar moved. Because of his injury, he could only open his eyes a slit. You're here. He wasn't surprised at all and greeted Bear as usual. When he saw Zhou Yun on Jiang Rui's back, he waved his hand. Jiang Rui nodded. She's fine. She just fainted. Hurry up, let's get out of here. Bear carried Scar on his back and tied them together with a special belt. It was custom-made by Jiang Rui. Every soldier who went on a mission had to carry one with them. Even if your comrade is dead, you have to carry his body back to the motherland. This was the first military rule of Jiang Rui. Jiang Rui turned on the communicator to inform Xiao Si to take action. 2 minutes later, he suddenly heard a commotion outside. Mr. Long, someone is on the island. The guard at the door shouted and pushed open the door. He was stunned. Before they could react, Long Zhan Ao killed one of them with a shot. Let's go. He took the lead and rushed out. It was the same road as when they came, but there were no guards now. When he was halfway there, a few people suddenly ran towards him. Don't move. Put him down. The 3 of them shot at the same time and rushed through. After going up a flight of stairs, Longjun Ao stopped at the door. There will be a lot of people outside. Where are Xiaoxi and the others? Xiaoxi's voice came from Jiang Rui's headset. Boss, I see you. Just come out. I'm at the door. Go. Jiang Rui took the lead and rushed out. This was the entrance of the base. At this time, the two sides were shooting at each other. Xiaoxi saw Jiang Rui and the others coming out, so he took a few people to cover them. When they were about to reach the door, Kutcher's voice suddenly came. Longjun Ao, you are such a traitor. They looked back and saw Kutcher running over with several bodyguards. Longjun Ao shot him without hesitation. I'm not your man. When you trained me, you should have known that one day I would destroy this place. Go. Jiang Rui urged him. Everyone left quickly. Kutcher's voice came from afar. Go after them. Don't let them leave. There was also a scuffle on the dock. A group of people rushed onto the ship and fought with the Wan family. In the distance, a helicopter was flying over. Young master, they are coming. Wani killed the last person. Wan Qingxi waved his hand. Get ready to set sail. When Jiang Rui and the others rushed over, the helicopter had already put down the rope ladder. Hurry up. Wan Qingxi climbed up first. There was a roaring explosion in the direction of the base. Xiaoxi and the others blew up the arsenal. Jiang Rui asked Bear to go up first with Scar on his back, and then he handed Zhou Yun to Longjun Ao. Every time he took action, he would wait for the last brother to appear before leaving together. Boss. Xiaoxi ran over with a group of people. Jiang Rui nodded. Get on the ship. The explosives on the island have been activated. Everyone moved quickly. Seeing Jiang Rui jump onto the ship, Wan Qingxi gave a thumbs up to the helicopter. The helicopter flew higher and higher, and the ship slowly left the dock. I'll die with you. Kutcher, who chased them, shouted in a shrill voice. A black man aimed at the ship with a rocket launcher. Jiang Rui saw the danger and shouted at the helicopter. Hurry up. Go. At the same time, he jumped off the ship. The explosion was close at hand. Jiang Rui knocked down the black man with the rocket launcher and fought with Kutcher's bodyguards. Boss. Xiaoxi looked at Jiang Rui, who was surrounded by fire with his eyes wide open. Bear wanted to jump off the helicopter but was stopped by Wan Qingxi. Go, he ordered with red eyes. The ship and the helicopter quickly left the island. In the night, the explosions kept ringing, and the fire reflected the whole night. Back at the base of the Wan family, Scar and Zhou Yun were immediately sent back to the capital. Wan Qingxi reorganized the people and returned to the island. The explosion was over, and the whole island was in a mess. Everyone rushed up to search. They searched around the dock, but found no one. Not only Jiang Rui, but also Kutcher's body was not found. The bomb is so powerful. It's impossible for people to be intact. When you whispered, Bear roared. Shut up. Find him. Search the whole island. Wan Qingxi paused. If he's alive, I want to see him. If he's dead, I want to see his body. Chen Chen found that she was sitting alone in the boat, and there was nothing around her. She floated on the sea with the wind, and then saw Jiang Rui standing on the sea and smiling at her. Brother Xiao Rui. Chen Chen happily reached out her hand. The next second, she heard a loud noise. Jiang Rui turned into a cloud of blood mist, and the pieces of flesh fell into her boat. One of his eyes was still staring at her. Chen Chen trembled and covered her mouth with her hands, making a shrill cry. No. Mom. Tuanzi shook her awake. Did you have a nightmare? Chen Chen suddenly opened her eyes and saw that she was still in the familiar room. Tuanzi was looking at her worriedly. Tuanzi. Chen Chen hugged her daughter and thought of the scene in the dream, shivering again. It's okay. Tuanzi leaned in her arms. You forget that dreams are always the opposite. Knowing that she must have dreamed of her dad, Tuanzi whispered. Maybe when we wake up tomorrow, Dad will come. Yes. Chen Chen nodded carelessly. Go to sleep. Dad will come tomorrow. At dawn, Wan Qingxi stood on the ruins of the base, and the anxiety in his eyes revealed his panic. If something happened to Jiang Rui, how could he explain it to his sister, Asha and Xianqing? Young master. Wani walked over and shook his head. Not far away, Bear and Xiaoxi were still searching in the ruins. Qingxi couldn't say anything to stop them. Suddenly Hazy, who had been following them, barked. Woof woof woof. Hazy barked at a pillar. Bear and Xiaoxi ran over quickly. Come on, lift the pillar. Qingxi also rushed over to help. Everyone lifted the stone pillar up, only to find that the floor below had been charred black. Other than that, there was nothing else. Hazy! Bear roared. Hazy whimpered and dug the ground with its 2 paws, barking while digging. Xiaoxi knelt beside its feet and knocked on the floor twice. Then he raised his head in surprise. It's empty. Dig. Dig. A shovel fell, but there was a sound of metal colliding. Long Zhenao frowned and said, This is a specially built underground secret room. There are 3 on the island. I don't remember there is one here. It seems that Kutcher has been wary of you. Qingxi frowned. How did you open the other 3? The password. Long Zhenao thought for a while and began to search nearby. I set the password of the base. As long as I can find it, I can unlock it. Finally, they found a broken combination lock on a metal plate 3 meters away. I need a computer. Long Zhenao sat down with the electronic lock. Wani ran to the ship immediately and brought the computer back. Long Zhenao began to repair the password lock. It will take a long time. You'd better take a rest first. No one knows what's going on down there. It's up to you. Xiaoxi patted him on the shoulder and asked the brothers over there to go back to the ship to eat. It took him 3 hours to fix it. It was not until the afternoon that Long Zhenao moved his neck and stood up. Because he had not moved for a long time, he almost staggered and fell. How is it going? Bear asked nervously. Long Zhenao limped to the door of the secret room and pressed a row of numbers on the electronic lock. Click. Everyone exclaimed excitedly as if they had heard a musical note. As the metal door slowly opened, an underground staircase appeared in front of everyone. I'll go down with Bear to explore. Xiaoxi carried the equipment on his back. Qingxi stopped him. I'll go too. Young Master Wan, you'd better stay here. Bear persuaded him. Our boss won't let you take risks. I don't want my sister to be sad. Qingxi finished and took the lead to go down. Wani followed him closely. Chapter 463. When the sand in the hourglass flowed to the bottom, Chen received a call from Qingxi. Qingxi didn't say anything on the phone, but said that they would come back tomorrow. Tuanzi, I think something must have happened to your father. Qingxi didn't give her a chance to speak. He knew that she was worried about Jiang Rui, but he didn't even mention it. Mom, maybe Dad is too tired and falls asleep. Tuanzi patted her and was about to comfort her when her phone rang again. Chen saw the number and picked it up in surprise. Yun. Zhou Yun sat by the bed, staring at Scar, who was in a coma. Yun. Chen walked in quietly. Zhou Yun looked up and smiled at her. You are here. What did the doctor say? Chen sat next to her and looked at Scar, whose face was full of wounds. Why hasn't he woken up? He is too tired. The wounds are nothing. His ribs are broken, and there is bleeding in his brain and lungs. Zhou Yun thought of something and apologized. Chen, I was in the hospital when I woke up. I didn't see Chief Jiang. Jiang Rui. Chen waved her hand. It's okay. They will come back tomorrow. You can take care of Scar. I promised him that if he wakes up, I will marry him. Zhou Yun had a faint smile on her face. Chen thought that she was more beautiful than on the red carpet. In the days when she was kidnapped, Scar suffered all the torture in order to protect her from being humiliated by those people. He endured the whipping of those people every day. Especially one time, those cruel terrorists said that if they cut him, they wouldn't touch her today. Hurry up. Cut whatever you want, but don't touch her. Otherwise I will die here now. Zhou Yun cried and held Scar's hand tightly. Now there were only 4 fingers left. The first thing he asked when he woke up was whether you would dislike me now that I was disabled. Zhou Yun choked with sobs. Chen, I got him into trouble. I got him into trouble. If she hadn't fallen into those people's hands, Scar wouldn't have been threatened. and Jiang Rui's brothers wouldn't have risked their lives to save them. You are talking nonsense again. Chen Chen handed her a piece of tissue. Those people came for brother Xiao Rui. You're the innocent ones who got involved in this. Zhou Yun cried for a long time. It was probably a kind of venting. After she recovered her emotions, she ran to wash her face in embarrassment. After she came out, she started to put on makeup and took a photo to post on Weibo. Everyone, I'm getting married. Give me your blessings. Under the photo she added these words. Chen Chen's sharp eyes found the ring on her finger. When did Scar propose to you? Zhou Yun said sweetly. He didn't ask for it. But I found out that he bought a ring secretly. I want to bring it with me and give him a surprise when he wakes up. Yeah, it's a big surprise. Chen Chen reposted the post. A few minutes later, everyone knew that the movie queen was going to get married. Zhou Yun's company was busy dealing with the public relations. Her agent called and scolded her. It wasn't that he disliked her for getting married, but that she didn't give him a heads up. In short, this matter was pushed to a climax as the netizens guessed who the groom was. But Zhou Yun, the perpetrator, didn't even turn on her phone. She hid in the hospital and happily accompanied her man. Don't walk around. I'm dizzy. Azi grabbed Chen Chen. Look, even Tuanzi is better than you. Chen Chen sat on the sofa and rubbed her butt. Shall I make another call? Mom, you just made a call 10 minutes ago. Tuanzi grabbed the phone. Didn't Uncle say that he would arrive in an hour? Be patient. I'll go and see if the soup is ready. Chen Chen couldn't sit still. She jumped up and ran to the kitchen. When the doorbell finally rang, not only Chen Chen but also Azi's eyes turned red. Brother! Wan Qingxi was the first to come in, followed by Bear. Chen Chen was stunned and asked blankly, Where's brother Xiao Rui? Lulu. Wan Qingxi looked at her, his face full of heartache. Azi had already jumped into Bear's arms, her eyes full of questions. Bear lowered his head and didn't say anything. Chen Chen laughed. He went back to the army? Lulu Xiao Rui. Brother. Chen Chen interrupted Wan Qingxi. Don't speak for him. He didn't come back to see me first. I won't let him come home later. Tuanzi squatted on the ground, and Hazy rubbed against her arms. Woof woof woof. The little girl burst into tears. Chen Chen looked at her. Tuanzi, why are you crying? Mom woof. Tuanzi jumped into her arms. Brother, I'm so sleepy. I'm going to sleep. When brother Xiao Rui comes back, ask him to wake me up. Chen Chen held Tuanzi tightly and wanted to run to the bedroom, but was stopped by Wan Qingxi. Chen Chen shook her head slowly. I won't listen. Don't tell me. Lulu, it's not that bad. Jiang Rui is just missing. When they entered the underground adytum that day, there was no one inside. Even the exit was blocked by a huge stone. Hazy found Jiang Rui's epaulette in a pile of gravel. After they pried the stone open, they found that it led directly to the coast. Xiao Rui is still alive, but he was taken away by the terrorists. Wan Qingxi took Tuanzi over. Dad is trying his best to find him. The One family is also helping. They informed Child Shin in the United States, Lin Mushing in Harbor City, and the bounty hunters and the killer groups. They used all their connections. Unless they took Jiang Rui to the moon, they would definitely find him. I know. Please take care of Tuanzi, Chen Chen said and fainted. Bear hurried to find Hua Tuo. He thought she was just too frightened, but Hua Tuo felt her pulse for 5 minutes before he said, Mrs. Jiang is pregnant. Everyone present was stunned, and Tuanzi reacted first. I'm going to have a little brother? She put her hand on Chen Chen's belly. Why can't I feel it? It's less than a month. Hua Tuo said cautiously. Mrs. Jiang has been thinking too much these days. The fetus is very weak. I'll prescribe some medicine for her. Aziz saw that Chen Chen didn't wake up even when they talked so much. She asked worriedly, Is she okay? She's okay. She's just tired. She'll be fine after she wakes up. The men all left. Aziz decided to live here to take care of Chen Chen and Tuanzi. Anyway, Bear had to go back to the army to arrange the matter of finding Jiang Rui. In the evening, Xie Hong came with Wan Ziyu. Chen Chen didn't wake up after sitting there for a long time. When they left, Xiahong specially arranged the chef of the one family to cook some food for them. When Azi was having dinner with Tuanzi in the dining room, she suddenly saw Chen standing in the corridor. Chen? Azi stood up. Come here. Tuanzi ran over and stared at Chen for a long time. Mom. Chen replied with a and took her hand to the table to sit down. Mom. You're not my usual mom. Tuanzi frowned. Azi stared at her. You. I remember everything. Chen filled a bowl of soup for herself. I need to improve it next time. This medicine will lose its effect when it's overly stimulated. Tuanzi looked at her mother with bright eyes. She always thought that Chen, who had recovered all her memories, was more powerful. Azi asked in a low voice. Chen, are you okay? Yes. Chen glanced at her. I'm going to the research institute in the army tomorrow. You don't have to come. What are you going to do? Chen ate a meatball in one bite. Make medicine. Early the next morning, Bear received the call and came to pick her up. He first sent Tuanzi to school, then sent Azi home, and finally went to the army with Chen. These are the things I need. Chen handed him a piece of paper. The more the better. Bear glanced at it and found that there were many illegal drugs on it. But he didn't ask anything. He just nodded and said, I'll get them as soon as possible. After that, Chen locked herself in the lab and Xiaoxi would send her food every day. At first, no one was nervous. But 5 days later, she still didn't come out. Hua Tuo became anxious. Even if Mrs. Zhang's body can bear it, the child can't. Azi, who was asked by Bear to persuade her, stood at the door and listened for a long time. Shall I go in and ask her to come out? Wait and see. If she doesn't come out by dinner time, you can persuade her to come out by sending her food. After Xiaoxi finished speaking, the phone in his hand suddenly vibrated. He looked at the number, and his expression changed. Master Wan. The others all stared at him nervously. After hanging up the phone, Xiaoxi was relieved. Found her. No one expected that Kutch would be right under their noses. The more dangerous the place was, the safer it was, according to the results of several investigations. According to the investigation, Kutcher took Jiang Rue around the world and sneaked into the capital 3 days ago. Great! Bear waved his fist. I'll deploy it right away. Xiaoxi was also excited. The Wan family will come tonight. We'll take action together tomorrow. After hearing the news about Jiang Rue, everyone finally had a chance to breathe. Azi thought that if she told Chen the news at night, she would listen to her and come out to rest. However, when she entered the lab, she found no one inside. What? Mrs. Jiang is missing? The first reaction of Bear and the others was that it was impossible. Xiaoxi said unbelievably, who can kidnap someone from the army? Get the surveillance video. Hua Tuo said to his men. After watching the video, they all looked pale. Mrs. Jiang left by herself. She must have heard our conversation. Azi grabbed Bear's hand in fear. She went to find Jiang Rue alone? She took the satellite map from the Wan family with the location marked on it. Bear patted her hand and comforted her. Don't worry. Look, Mrs. Jiang carried a big bag. She must have prepared well before she went. Xiaoxi turned around and left. I'll inform everyone. You go to prepare the weapons. We won't wait for the Wan family. At this time, Chen had already arrived at an abandoned temple on the outskirts of the capital. The temple was built on the hillside and was not big. She walked around the room but found nothing. Then it must be underground. Looking at the only stone bodhisattva in the temple, Chen said to herself, where is the mechanism? Chapter 464. Chen jumped to the back of the stone statue and found that the head was empty, with a bulging lump inside. She reached out and pressed it, but there was no response. Then he twisted it clockwise twice. Suddenly, he heard a cracking sound, and a passage appeared in front of the stone statue. Sure enough, Chen jumped down and took out a pack of white powder from her bag and sprinkled it on herself. Then she took out a gun that she had stolen from somewhere. When she was ready, she walked down slowly against the wall. There was a dirty light bulb hanging on the top of the stone wall. The passage was not long and she could see a wooden door at the end. Chen carefully pushed open the crack and found that the stone wall inside was polished smooth and covered with white wallpaper. To be safe, she threw a stone in. After rolling over, there was no movement at all. Chen, come on. You can do it. She took a deep breath and walked in quickly. After walking for more than 10 meters, she didn't see anyone. Chen began to wonder if she had come to the wrong place. There was a metal door in front of her. She thought that it couldn't be opened, but it was opened with a gentle touch. Then, there came a man's laughter and a woman's hesitant voice. She squatted down and looked into the room. 2 foreign men were pressing a woman. The woman's mouth was covered and her body was covered with bruises. She had no strength to cry. Hurry up. If Kutch's father knows that we brought a woman in, he won't be happy. A man put on his pants and urged his companion. The woman suddenly stared at him and reached out to Chen. The man who stood up suddenly turned back and asked, "Who is it?" Chen ran away. The other man also put on his pants in a hurry and ran out with his companion. Chen saw that they took out their guns, so she turned around and ran back. The 2 men were stunned when they saw her running towards them. They even forgot to fire their guns. However, Chen pulled out a gun from her waist and pulled the trigger at the 2 men. Ah! It was not a bullet but a powder. The 2 men covered their faces and screamed. The skin on their faces fell off like the wall. They were badly mutilated and soon fell to the ground. Chen turned around and left without looking at them. The woman in the room staggered out and saw a pile of rotten flesh on the ground. She screamed and fainted. After passing through the long corridor, Chen came to the last door. Similarly, it wasn't locked. She gently pushed the door open and walked in. In an instant, her eyes widened. In the glass house, Jiang Rui was handcuffed to the bed, and his head was full of tubes. His facial features were distorted, and his body was twitching. Brother Xiao Rui. Chen held back her tears and walked to the other side of the room. Several men in white coats were busy in front of a row of instruments. An old man pointed at Jiang Rui and asked, "Is it still not enough? He's already lost consciousness, but you still can't catch his brainwaves? His will is too strong. He has been resisting all this time." A bespectacled man said, "I think we should dissect him and take out his brain for research." The old man said with some regret, "What a pity, I still wanted to hypnotize him." "Didn't you say that his daughter is more powerful?" The bespectacled man suggested. "Wait for the limelight to die down before we capture his daughter for research. Children should be easier to control. That's the only way. Get ready to dissect it." The old man was about to leave when he saw the white powder. Chen said fiercely, "Go to hell, bastard." The bespectacled man panicked and wanted to pull the old man away. But before he could move, he felt that his hand was burning. At the same time, the old man next to him screamed, You're the girl from the Wan family?" Kutcher endured the pain. He had just covered his face with his sleeve. He didn't know what kind of medicine it was, but the place where the powder touched his forehead was painful. "Damn it, it's a corrosive agent." The bespectacled man saw some flesh on the back of his hand falling off. "Damn it, this woman is so cruel." Chen held the gun. "Not as cruel as you. Let him go." Kutcher winked at the bespectacled man. The bespectacled man quietly moved to Chen. "Don't act rashly. He will become an idiot if you touch him now. I'll say it again. Let him go." Chen shot again. The bespectacled man shouted and quickly stepped back. Kutcher took the opportunity to press the alarm on the wall. Soon, Chen heard footsteps outside. A dozen foreigners rushed in and pointed at her with guns. "Catch her alive!" Kutcher shouted. As long as they caught Chen, they could threaten the Wan family and catch Jiang Rui's daughter. Chen gritted her teeth. "You hurt brother Xiao Rui and want to catch Tuanzi. You deserve to die." Then she took out a bag of red powder from her bag, tore it up and threw it into the air. Suddenly, the whole room was covered with red powder, and everyone was stained with it. Except for Chen, everyone screamed. They watched as their skin bulged up with blisters as if they were being boiled, and then exploded one by one. Pieces of flesh flew everywhere. and blood splashed on the wall and the glass. One of Kutcher's eyeballs had fallen out. He reached out his rotten hand to catch Chen Chen, but he screamed again when he touched the red powder on her body. In less than 10 minutes, the whole room seemed to have been run over by a machine. Layers of pieces of flesh were soaked in blood. Chen Chen trembled and kicked away the eyeball on her foot, moving into the glass house step by step. After she got in, she took off her outer clothes while trembling, and took out a bottle of medicine to wash her hands. Then she threw herself on Jiang Rui, but she didn't know which tube to pull out first. When she was about to cry, a few more people suddenly broke in. "Mrs. Jiang!" Bear shouted. Chen Chen burst into tears. "Hurry up! Save him!" Xiaoxi rushed over to operate the instrument, and Bear came over to hold her. Everyone was shocked. The scene in the room was beyond their expectation. They didn't expect Chen Chen to make such a poisonous drug. "Mrs. Jiang, are you okay?" Bear found Chen Chen trembling. Chen Chen shook her head and stared at Jiang Rui. Seeing that little four had pulled out all the tubes, she heaved a sigh of relief. Then she collapsed and fainted. "Lulu! Lulu! Mom, wake up! Little Chen! How dare you run to save people alone?" There were many voices in Chen Chen's ears, some of which she knew and some of which she didn't know. She wanted to answer them, but she couldn't open her mouth. Then the surroundings suddenly became quiet again, so she fell asleep again in a daze. When she was finally able to open her eyes, she saw Chen Huan staring at her. "Lulu." Chen Huan wasn't sure if she was really awake, so she called her tentatively. Chen Chen opened her mouth and said in a weak voice, "Mom! She's awake. She's awake." Chen Huan shouted excitedly, and a group of people rushed in. Boss Wan and his son were in the front. Seeing that his daughter had opened her eyes, Boss Wan finally relaxed. "Nonsense. Our daughter just woke up. Why are you shouting?" Chen Huan stared at her husband. "Let's talk after she finishes eating." Xi and Qing and Ing Ching Song hurried in with a thermos in their hands. "She's finally awake." Chen Chen didn't regain some strength until she drank a bowl of chicken soup and ate the wontons made by Xi and Qing. "I've slept for 3 days?" She looked at Wan Qingxi in disbelief. "No wonder I was so hungry." Seeing that she was fine, Chen Huan poked her forehead and scolded her. "Are you stupid? Who allowed you to go alone? There were so many people. How could it be your turn?" "Mom." Chen Chen covered her head. "But I'm fine. You almost starved my grandson to death." Xian Qing grabbed Xian Qing's hand, her eyes red. "You silly girl. Tell me, how could you be so bold?" Boss Wan snorted coldly beside them. Wan Qingxi noticed his sister's hesitant expression. "Just ask whatever you want to ask," he said impatiently. Where is Brother Xiaorui?" Chen Chen asked in a low voice. In fact, she didn't dare to speak. If Jiang Rui was fine, he would definitely stay by her side. Since he didn't show up, it meant he hasn't woken up yet. Wan Qingxi said. His brain was overly stimulated. When he wakes up depends on himself. Chen Chen asked blankly. What do you mean? Lulu. Xian Qing wiped her tears. Xiaorui, Ing Qing Sung frowned and stopped her. Why are you crying? He's fine. What's wrong with him? Chen Chen was anxious. Where is he? I want to see him. Then she was about to get off the bed. Chen Huan stopped her. Slow down. Put on your shoes. It turned out that Jiang Rui was in the next ward. When Chen Chen went in, Hua Tuo was feeling Jiang Rui's pulse. Azi Bear, Scar and Zhou Yun were all there. Mrs. Jiang. Scar looked at her guiltily. It's all my fault. If it weren't for me, boss wouldn't. Chen Chen interrupted him. That's enough. Yun has said this before. Let me ask you, if Brother Xiaorui and I were the ones who were caught, would you save us? I understand. Scar nodded and didn't say anything else. Hua Tuo covered Jiang Rui with the quilt and shook his head. Nothing has changed. Chen Chen sat by the bed and held Jiang Rui's hand. Brother Xiaorui, I've woken up. Why haven't you woken up? You said you would come back in 3 days. You can't say that I'm stupid this time. It's me who saved you. From a medical point of view, Jiang Rui was now in a state of suspended animation, which was called a vegetative state. But Chen Huan thought that because his brain was different from that of ordinary people, this state should be his self-protection mode. But at the same time, all his consciousness was indeed asleep. Talk to him, and see if you can wake him up. This was the only way they could think of at the moment. Because it was useless to stay in the hospital, Chen decided to take Jiang Rui back to the Wan family's island. Tuanzi thought that she could also wake up her father, so she refused to stay in the Wan family's house to go to school alone and came back with them. In the blink of an eye, more than half a year had passed. Except for Chen's growing belly, Jiang Rui showed no signs of waking up. Mum. Tuanzi ran in early in the morning. Grandma wants you to have breakfast. Chen was wiping Jiang Rui's face and murmured, "If you don't wake up, your son won't recognize you." The man on the bed lay quietly, without any reaction. "Let's go. Let's have breakfast." Chen hid the disappointment in her eyes and left slowly with Tuanzi. Chapter 465. Chen. Ozzy rushed in from the door. Bear followed her with a white ball in his arms. "Hey, slow down. You just finished your confinement. Didn't you say you would come back in a few days?" Chen pulled her in surprise. Ozzy touched her belly. "Well, you look good, but you don't look well. Let me have a look." Chen reached out to Bear. Bear handed his son to her. "Isn't he beautiful?" He seemed to show off. Ozzy rolled her eyes at him. "That's because he looks like me. If he looks like you, he'll be called Little Bear. I think the current name is not as good as Little Bear." Chen twitched her mouth. When Ozzy gave birth to her son, she called her and told her that the child's nickname was Rice Cake. When Chen asked her why, Ozzy explained in this way. "Because of Tuanzi. So my son is called Rice Cake. They look more like siblings." Chen was really influenced by her. Later, she wondered more than once whether her son would be called Tengyuan or Baozi. "Is there anything interesting in the capital recently?" Chen and Ozzy sat on the beach with Rice Cake in their arms, enjoying the sea breeze. Ozzy ate a piece of pineapple and said, "Yes. Bai Weirong finally got the property of the Liu family. She is now the chairman of the Liu Group." As early as 3 months ago, Bai Weirong announced to the public that her son with Liu Tao was the only heir of the Liu family. Wan Qingxi said that Bai Weirong was not smart, and it was the old man of the Bai family who planned it. "By the way, you said last time that Han Shuiying was driven crazy by Bai Weirong?" Chen's tone was complicated. That woman was actually quite pitiful. When she woke up after giving birth, she saw Bai Weirong standing in front of her bed with the baby in her arms, proudly thanking her for giving birth to a son for her and Liu Tao. Bai Weirong would be a fool if she still didn't understand. Unfortunately, no matter how she cried, no one cared about her. As a result, she was so excited that she almost died in the hospital bed due to postpartum hemorrhage. Later, Bai Weirong took her away. She was taken away by Long Zhen Ao. Azitutade. Bear told the Bai family, but Bai Weirong didn't agree. She always wanted to torture her to death. If Bai Ziki hadn't stopped her, she would have sent her to the red light district. Long Zhen Ao promised the Bai family that he would never let Han Shuiying return to the capital. Chen nodded. "Where did he take Han Shuiying?" "I heard that he went to a small town in Europe." Azi waved her hand. "That's not bad. Why are you worried about that?" She hesitated for a moment before asking. "The god of war still hasn't responded." Seeing the smile on Chen's face disappear immediately, Azi hurriedly said, "Oh, forget it. I didn't ask. I'm fine." Chen sighed. "Anyway, I believe that he will wake up." Tuanzi also said that brother Xiao Rui was not dead. In the past 6 months, Tuanzi found that the color of Jiang Rui's body had been changing. At first, it was a light gray, then it turned white, and then a light yellow. Moreover, every time Chen spoke, the yellow color would become particularly bright. Therefore, Chen firmly believed that Jiang Rui was about to wake up. The situation in the capital changed. The Liu family was annexed by the Bai family, but the Jiang family was in danger. They announced that Jiang Rui was missing in action. Now everyone was staring at the Jiang family, waiting for it to be trampled by the Bai family. It was the beginning of spring again. Early in the morning, The atmosphere in the Wan family was very tense. Lulu, relax. If it hurts too much, we'll have a cesarean section. Chen Huan and Xianqing were on the left and right sides of the delivery bed. Chen Chen started to have labor pains in the early morning yesterday. According to the schedule, it was the time to give birth. The doctor and the midwife were taken to the island early in the morning. Originally, the adults wanted her to have a cesarean section. But under the influence of Asha, Chen Chen decided to give birth to the baby herself. The birth canal hasn't been opened yet. It seems that it will be opened in the afternoon. The doctor checked again. Everything is normal. Eat more food with high calories later to keep your strength. Tuanzi ran in. Mom, I've told Dad that my brother is coming out. Her eyes flickered and she didn't dare to look at Chen Chen. If he doesn't wake up after I give birth, I'll hide with the baby. Chen Chen pouted. Although she sounded angry, her eyes began to turn red. As the doctor said, Chen Chen didn't show signs of giving birth until the afternoon. In the middle, Xianqing made her a bowl of chicken soup. Although she didn't want to eat it because of the pain, Chen Chen still drank it up in order to have strength later. At 5 o'clock, the doctor said that the birth canal had been opened to 8 fingers, and they could prepare to give birth. That day, Chen Chen was very painful. That kind of pain was the same as any other kind of pain. There was no way to vent it, so she could only endure it. She thought that was it. But when she started to give birth, she found that the previous pain was just child's play. Woo. Mom, it hurt so much. Chen Chen was sweating and crying with a pale face. I don't want to give birth. I don't want to give birth. Asha shouted at the door. Lulu, bear with it. Every mother goes through the same thing. You're lying. Chen Chen shouted inside. Sister Asha, you said it didn't hurt. Chen Huan wiped her sweat and asked the doctor. How about a cesarean section? Then your pain today will be in vain. Ozzy also shouted outside. Since I can give birth, so can you. Come on. Bear stared at her. Madam, you cesarean section. Shut up. She doesn't have the time to think about how I gave birth. After that, Ozzy continued to shout inside. Tuanzi heard Chen Chen crying and calling Jiang Rui's name. She stamped her feet and ran to Jiang Rui's room next door. Dad, did you hear that? Tuanzi took Jiang Rui's hand. Mom is giving birth to my brother. She's calling you. Jiang Rui, who was lying on the bed, didn't respond at all, as if he had fallen asleep. Tuanzi also cried and called her dad over and over again. In the delivery room, Chen Chen cried without strength. I don't want to give birth. I don't want to give birth. Forget it. Prepare for the operation, Chen Huan said to the doctor. Suddenly, there was a scream outside the door. Chen Huan saw the person who pushed the door open and cried with joy. Lulu, look who's here. Look. Chen Chen moved her head and reached out a pair of big hands. Lulu, I'm here. Brother Xiaorui. Brother Xiaorui. Chen Chen tried to open her eyes. You're awake? Is it really you? Jiang Rui kissed her lips and murmured. It's me. I'm awake. I'm here to keep you company. Wow. Chen Chen wanted to hug him, but her posture didn't allow it. Jiang Rui quickly moved to the other side, grabbed her hand, held her neck, and said in her ear, Come on, Lulu. Come on. Outside the door, Tuanzi smiled proudly. Look, I'm awesome. I woke Dad up. Half an hour later, Chen Chen gave birth to a fat boy weighing 8 kilograms. Everyone took turns to watch the baby excitedly, while Chen Chen was carried back to the bedroom by Jiang Rui. Lulu. Jiang Rui carefully lay beside her. I miss you so much. Chen Chen was about to cry, but she held back her tears when she remembered that Xianqing had told her not to cry during the confinement period. Can you hear me when I talk to you every day? Yes, I can. He even kissed her fingers. Every time I hear you, I tell myself to wake up quickly. I can't let you be so sad. Jiang Rui sighed. But I still let you wait for so long. Chen Chen sniffed. Fortunately, if you don't wake up when your son is born, we won't want you anymore. Haha. Jiang Rui held her. Good girl. Go to sleep. Closing her eyes, Chen Chen asked, Will you always be with me? Yes, we'll never be apart. National Day was the busiest festival in the capital before winter, and it was also the last wave of weddings. The most expensive hotel had been booked early this year. On the wedding day, there were many people in military uniforms going in and out. Every guest was checked as if they had been through an X-ray scanner. There were guards every 3 steps, and even an ant couldn't sneak in. It was rare for the Wan family to show up at the same time, and some senior officials were chatting with them. Jiang Min and Jiang Qianren stood beside the groom, and the groom stood in the middle with his arms around the bride. They didn't need to greet the guests, and no one needed them to greet them. Alas, it's much grander than our wedding. Ozzy poked Bear. Bear hurriedly said, "Madam, if you're not satisfied, we can get married again." Whoosh. Ozzy rolled her eyes at him. Forget it. She didn't want it. Getting married was physical work, and it was exhausting. That's why we're lucky. We got married while we were traveling abroad. Zhou Yun beside them said, Scar is not happy, and he keeps asking us to get married again like Chen Chen. Scar took her hand and said, I'm afraid you'll feel wronged. You know I won't. Zhou Yun poked him and leaned into Scar's arms with a sweet face. Everyone knew the fickleness of human nature. There was no old-fashioned ceremony. When all the guests arrived, they announced the start of the banquet. Are you tired? Jiang Rui helped Chen Chen sit down. You got up so early to put on makeup. Go back to bed early later. Chen Chen answered him with a sweet smile, which softened Jiang Rui's heart. I'm not tired. Mom and the others have been holding the buns and are still so energetic. Chen Chen glanced at the Wan family's table not far away. Chen Huan showed the chubby boy in her arms to them. Tuanzi and Heizi ran over, followed by Wenziyu. Mom, are you still going on your honeymoon? Wenziyu looked at Chen Chen and Jiang Rui uneasily. Jiang Rui glanced at him and asked Tuanzi, You can go with us if you want. Tuanzi, only couples can go on a honeymoon. When we grow up, we can go by ourselves. Wenziyu pulled her nervously. Let uncle and auntie go. You can live in my house. Chen Chen looked at the 2 little guys with a smile. Well, okay. Tuanzi pouted and was pulled away by Wenziyu. Heizi kept stepping on Wenziyu's heels. Ha 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 ha. Chen Chen laughed and fell on Jiang Rui. Jiang Rui was afraid that she would fall, so he held her in his arms. Chen Chen stared at him vigilantly. What do you want to do? Nothing. Jiang Rui bit her ear. It turns out that Lulu wants to be alone with me. Don't worry. I'll feed you tonight. Chen Chen blushed and hit him with the wedding dress on her head. Don't talk nonsense. I won't go on the honeymoon. For our happy life, I've had a vasectomy. Do you still have the heart to not feed me? Jiang Rui didn't want Chen Chen to go through the pain of childbirth again. He was also afraid that contraception was bad for her health, so he had a vasectomy. Chen Chen was grateful for what the man had done for her. She held him and raised her head. Kiss me. Okay. Seal it with a kiss and lock up the happy time of a lifetime. When Zhangmi knew that she was pregnant, she still wanted to hide it from Childshin. Because Xian Qing's leg hadn't recovered yet, she wanted to stay. If Childshin knew that she was pregnant, he would definitely take her back to New York. Come here. Childshin patted the bed. Why are you sleeping so far away? No, it's too hot. Zhangmi moved to the bed again. Childshin pulled her over. It's okay. You're about to fall. Zhangmi stared at him vigilantly. Don't touch me. I'm not feeling well today. I know. Your period is here. Childshin held her in his arms. I remember the date. Go to sleep. Zhangmi snickered and thought that everything would be fine. She wanted to delay it until 3 months later. However, when she woke up the next day, she saw Childshin looking at her with a faint smile. What are you laughing at in the morning? Zhangmi glanced at him while brushing her teeth. Childshin chuckled. Didn't you go to the hospital yesterday? Bring me the results. How do you know that I went to the hospital? Zhangmi stared at him. Did you send someone to follow me again? That's for protection, Childshin said angrily. Don't make wild guesses. It was Xiao Qingqing who told me. He stepped forward and shook Zhangmi's shoulders. It's okay for you to fool around. How dare you hide the fact that you're pregnant? Zhang Mi was rarely in the wrong. She hesitated for a long time and didn't dare to speak. Pack your things. Child Shin ignored her and took out the suitcase. I'm not leaving. Zhang Mi sat still. I want to wait for Xian Qing's leg to be cured. Child Shin really wanted to strangle her. What are you going to do? What if Xiao Qingqing's leg can't be cured in 3 to 5 years? Bah, bah, bah. Zhang Mi spat. Spit it out, you jinx. After that, she came forward and pulled Child Shin's face. Don't move. Child Shin hugged her. Be a good girl and go back to New York with me to take care of the baby. You can come back after the baby is born. Seeing that Zhang Mi was still unwilling, he threw the phone to her. Call Xian Qing. Why? You'll know when you call her. After hanging up the phone, Zhang Mi resentfully went to pack her suitcase. Ying Qingsong was going to take Xian Qing on a trip and spend some quality time with her. He didn't need her at all. That night, they arrived at the Shin family's mansion in New York. Ha 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 ha. Girl, come here. Hurry up and sit down. Shin Batian pushed a wheelchair and stood at the door. His old face was smiling like a chrysanthemum. Zhang Mi and Child Shin looked at the old man and stared at each other. Dad, you're exaggerating. Child Shin pulled Zhang Mi into the house. Shin Batian shouted from behind. Girl, come here. Don't go with that guy. Zhang Mi didn't know whether to laugh or cry as Shin Batian pressed her into the wheelchair. Before she could say anything, Child Shin said unhappily, Dad, she's pregnant. She's not crippled. What do you know? Shin Batian carefully pushed Zhang Mi. She's just 1 month old. This is the most important time. Of course, I have to take good care of her. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Zhang Mi turned her head proudly. You have to take good care of me. Shin Batian nodded vigorously. Girl, let's go up and see the room. I've renovated it. If there's anything you don't like, just tell me. He pushed Zhang Mi to the stairs and saw Child Shin still standing there in a daze. What are you doing? He kicked him. Hugging her. Zhang Mi proudly reached out her hand. Child Shin angrily picked her up and whispered in her ear. I'll teach you a lesson later. After packing up, the two of them went downstairs to eat. Child Shin touched his forehead when he saw the exaggerated dining table. Dad, this is enough for 10 people. Shin Batian ignored her and pulled out a chair for Zhang Mi to sit down. Girl, the doctor said you're picky now. I asked them to make a variety of flavors. Take a look and see what you like. I'll ask them to do the same tomorrow. Dad. Zhang Mi flattered. Why are you so nice? You must be my biological father. Haha. Shin Batian grinned widely. Of course, aren't you my biological daughter? Child Shin lowered his head and ate. He didn't want to look at the two of them. After eating, Zhang Mi began to feel sleepy. Child Shin sent her upstairs to sleep. Then he went to the study to see Shin Batian. Since you're back, let's go and meet those people. Shin Batian looked at his son. Although he usually beat and scolded him, he was actually very proud. He was satisfied. Child Shin glanced at him. Are you pretending to be sick again to make me stay? Last time, he made it sound so strange. In the end, it turned out that the old man was pretending to be sick just to trick him into getting married. Brat. If it weren't for me, would you be able to marry the girl? Shin Batian raised his crutch and pretended to hit him. She's such a good girl, and you've taken her away. Child Shin rolled his eyes. Am I your biological son? What do you mean by taking her away? Do you know how many women are fighting for me outside? Those women are all like you. Shin Batian glared at him. I'm warning you. If you dare to hurt the girl, I'll punish you according to the family rules. Zhang Mi would need at least a year from the time she was pregnant to the time she gave birth, plus the confinement period. She didn't have parents in New York. Shin Batian wanted her to stay here, at least until the child went to kindergarten. In the next 3 to 5 years, Child Shin must take care of the family power in New York. Then he needed to hold a ball to let everyone know that the Shuns were back. By the way, he needed to introduce Zhang Mi to everyone. She had the Dragon King's token. It's cold now. Let's wait until the baby is 3 months old. But then, we'll hold a ball. Shin Batian pondered. There will be a lot of people in the next few months. You don't have to worry about the girl. I'm here. Child Shin had no objection. He really wanted to stay this time. Ing Ching's song had nothing to do now, and he and Xian Qing didn't want to be disturbed. If he stayed in New York to consolidate his power here, they could take care of each other in the future. As for Zhang Mi, haha, her opinion didn't count. Zhang Mi didn't know that she was going to stay abroad all year round. After waking up, she sent a few text messages to Xian Qing, and then began to visit the Shun's mansion. Last time she was here, she was still a guest. This time she could walk around. Child Shin found her in the annex building on the right. Zhang Mi was holding a photo album and laughing. What are you looking at? He sat down and glanced at it, and then his face darkened. Zhang Mi pointed at a naked child. Ha 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 ha, you were so cute when you were young. You looked like a little girl. Before Child Shin could react, she flipped to the next photo. Ha 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 ha. You're wearing a dress, ha 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 ha. That's what the old man gave me. Child Shin said through gritted teeth. In the photo, Child Shin was wearing a little flower hat. His big eyes were watery, and his little mouth was pouting as he looked at the camera. He was a living little beauty. Zhang Mi looked at him carefully. You don't have to say. If you put on a wig and women's clothes, no one will recognize you in a crowd. Haha, don't you feel ashamed? Child Shin pinched her face. You're a woman, but you're not as beautiful as me. He thought that Zhang Mi would be angry, but her eyes lit up and she said, then let's have a son. He'll be as beautiful as you. A son will take after his mother. Child Shin attacked her. Then let's have a daughter. Zhang Mi touched her belly. Anyway, our child can't be worse than Xian Qing's. Child Shin nodded affirmatively. It'll definitely be better than his. I'm prettier than Ing Ching's song. Of course, the premise is that I don't look like you. Get lost. Zhang Mi kicked him, but Child Shin grabbed her and pulled her into his arms. When her lips were red and swollen, painful and itchy, Zhang Mi pushed him away, panting. Child Shin kissed her face again. Hurry up and pass the 3 months. Zhang Mi's eyes were full of charm. She deliberately drew circles on his chest with her finger. Take care of your little brother. If I find out that you've done something wrong to me. She made a knife-wielding gesture. Child Shin's face darkened. What kind of person do you think I am? How could I do that kind of thing? Tisk, look at your deeds since childhood. No matter how I look at it, you're like a heartless scumbag. Zhang Mi suddenly stopped moving. Child Shin looked over. What's wrong? Zhang Mi pointed to the girl in the photo. You have a childhood sweetheart? Who is this? Child Shin took the photo album. He was about 8 or 9 years old, sitting on the grass with a beautiful girl. Are you asking me? Zhang Mi curled her lips. Don't tell me it's your distant cousin. Child Shin closed the photo album. I really don't remember. Let's go. I'll take you out for a walk. Zhang Mi quickly forgot about it. Young Master Shen, on the other hand, secretly went to ask Shin Batian about it that night. Dad, do you still remember our old neighbor? Shin Batian was stunned. Which one? When we lived on the top of the mountain, wasn't there someone with the surname Bai? Oh, Shin Batian remembered. Didn't that family return to China? What's wrong? Child Shin clicked his tongue. Today, Mimi was looking at the photo album. There was a photo of me and the girl from the Bai family. She asked me who I was and I almost forgot. That little girl. Shin Batian touched his beard. I remember you liked that girl very much when you were a child. Don't talk nonsense. Child Shin interrupted him. How old was I at that time? I didn't like her at all. At that time, no one played with Child Shin. There was only that little girl around, and the two always played together. Okay. Shin Batian threw him a list. This is what we need to buy for the nursery. Take the girl to choose tomorrow when you have nothing to do. It's better if she likes it. That you're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.